You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1542. 1542 Chapter 352 was a good start. 3. Suyu couldn't help but laugh. In that case, if I were to be killed, you guys would still be merciful and help me collect a corpse or something. Do I still have to thank you guys? No need, no need. Those people kept their distance from Suyu and maintained a distance of more than 500 meters. In that case, if Suyu was really killed by someone, it wouldn't implicate them in an instant. This was also the principle of survival. This was the vulture. Suyu smiled. This was a little interesting. He had learned a lot. Was he very high profile? In fact, he did not think so. Perhaps in the eyes of others, he was quite high profile. He wore a white robe coquettishly, but a civilized master did not wear a white robe. Could it be that he wore a black robe? There seemed to be such a thing. However, Suyu was deeply influenced by someone. In the past, when he first saw Bai Feng, his white robe fluttered in the wind and he had a unique style. Many times, Suyu wore a white robe because of Bai Feng's influence. He killed an unrestrained person in a casual manner. If he did not consider the problem of his image collapsing later on, he would still have a lot of face. Suyu did not mind and said with a smile, "Brother, you guys have a lot of experience. Aren't you afraid that you will be implicated and killed together? There are dangers everywhere in the heavenly battlefield. If you really don't take any risks, then don't come out. You might as well return to the human realm and become a rich man." Suyu nodded. He said curiously, "Normally, Vulture's strength is still okay. Why doesn't anyone want to return to the human realm and become a small commander of the local army? Or go to some small cities and become a centurion or a 1,000-man captain? If not, the Wind-Seizing Hall also welcomes you to join." The old man bared his teeth. He said with a smile, "Sir, you must be joking. After living in this damn place for my whole life, I've seen many corpses. I'm used to seeing killings. If I go back now, one day, if I want to kill people, I'll be beheaded. At that time, I'll either join the Myriad clan or be killed. The Myriad clan sect is too dangerous. It's very easy to be exterminated. The manners are white, the Myriad clan sect is black, and we are ash. Although it's dangerous, it's still stronger than the Myriad clan sect. At the very least, even if we encounter an army, they won't slaughter us for no reason." Suyu smiled faintly and said, "I heard that Vulture doesn't always follow the rules. There are people who also engage in the business of assassinating their own people. Is that so?" "There must be." The old man did not deny it. He said with a smile, "People like that will die quickly. If they take that step, they will become black. If they become black, they will die quickly. If they become gray, they will live longer." Suyu nodded. Suddenly, he asked curiously, "Is there anyone who can dry a vulture until it is clean?" "Yes, but it is very miserable." The old man bared his teeth and said, "Do you know about the Lu family? The Lu family of Lu City. Back then, they were also a member of the Vulture family. Later on, the old master of the Lu family wanted to clear his name and establish Lu City to guard the gate of the human realm. He died a tragic death. The entire family, young and old, tsk, there aren't many people left alive. It's extremely tragic. Therefore, it's better not to clear his name after he's gone. It's too tragic." The Lu family? Suyu was slightly stunned. The Lu family that Lu Wenyan was in. Vulture family? This news really surprised him. "My lord, you don't believe me?" The old man arched his body and quickly followed him. He hurriedly smiled and said, "It's definitely true. Of course, it's been washed away for a long time. I heard that in the past, it was the great Xia emperor who personally went to persuade them. Later, there was also news that the two families actually had an agreement. The Lu family washed away the dust and the Xia and Lu families married. In the end, the great Xia emperor family didn't have any descendants for a long time. It was only a few decades ago that they confirmed the marriage partner. In the end, the Lu family disappeared. Su Yu knew a little about this. Xia Huyo seemed to have mentioned it once. He, Xia Huyo, seemed to have had a marriage alliance with the Lu family. In the end, the Lu family was gone. Then Lu city is destroyed. It's still there, but there aren't many people left. The Lu family's direct line of descent is almost all dead. There are still a few branch members of the Lu family. Of course, in the past, it was the sun and the moon that controlled it. Now, Ling Yun is the ruler. The position of Lu city isn't good either. The Lu family wants to guard the gate of the human realm. Lu city and the vanguard camp are on the same line. It's extremely dangerous. People die every year. Now, it's in a slump. Guarding the gate to the human realm. This was a choice made by the old master of the Lu family. For the sake of clearing his name or for other reasons, the Lu family had made this choice in the past. It was precisely because of this that they were too close to the front line. In the end, their family was destroyed. Lu city was destroyed. Su Yu thought for a moment and said, Lu family. Lu Wenyan. I heard that Lu Wenyan is in the vanguard camp of the heavenly battlefield, right? He is a direct descendant of the Lu family, right? Do you know him? Of course. The old man also came to talk about sex. It was mainly because of the effect of the primordial chi liquid. He met a rich and powerful person, so there was no harm in talking about it. The old man quickly said, who doesn't know Lu Wenyan? Back then, Yi Badian went to the heavenly battlefield and went to Lu city. When he saw Lu Wenyan, he said that he was his disciple. TSK, when he became a disciple, he was so glorious. Who is Yi Badian? He was the one who dared to make the sun and moon kneel. He was so arrogant and overbearing. Back then, the Lu family held a huge banquet. For 3 days and 3 nights, they kept the banquet going. They treated the heavenly treasures as food, and all the humans in the heavenly battlefield could go and congratulate them. That was an official cleanup. Even Yi Badian took in a disciple. What would happen then? Unfortunately, the good times did not last long. Yi Badian died in battle, and the Lu family suffered a lot because of that. They were often attacked, and a few times, the sun and moon died in battle. Lu Wenyan was crippled again, and the Lu family was completely finished. Now that Lu Wenyan is back, it's useless. He's only in the sky realm, and he was sent to the vanguard unit. He'll die sooner or later. I heard that he's fighting in the Shanghai camp, so it would be weird if he doesn't die. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1543. 1543 Chapter 352, A Good Start 4. The old man knew quite a lot. Of course, he was not clear about some of the deeper things. Su Yu did not ask about these things. Hearing this, he smiled and said, that might not necessarily mean death. Back then, the Lu family heard that they had rescued many human experts. Some of the invincible ones owed the Lu family a favor. Lu Wenyan returned to the heavenly battlefield and could not be taken care of. The old man did not hold any hope and said, that's hard to say. Can those invincible big shots care about these things? If they really did, could they send them to the vanguard camp? That damned place was better in the past, but now there are endless battles. I think that Lu Wenyan won't be able to live for long. That's true. Su Yu nodded. He leisurely rode on the earth dragon beast and continued to move forward. He smiled and said, I've been to this heavenly battlefield before, but I didn't go far, so I really don't know about this situation. The more I hear, the more interesting it gets. Brother, do you know where there are gods and devils geniuses? The weaker ones, the stronger ones, I can't beat them. The weaker ones, the more women, I'll catch a few to play with. Behind him, the old man unconsciously slowed down and was nearly 1,000 meters away from Su Yu. Only then did he speak. Sir, you'd better take it easy. Gods and devils are not to be trifled with. Not to mention gods and devils, even ordinary race powerhouses are hard to deal with. Sir Civilized Master has many tricks up his sleeves, but ever since the multi-god literature system declined, now. It's not too easy. This guy was a little dangerous. The old man thought in his heart, very arrogant, very young. This kind of genius died quickly. He was saying that he was a godly demon expert. Did you think that he was at the human realm? Did you think that godly demons were trash who had opened their apertures at 36? The godly demon experts usually had at least 108 or more apertures, and most of them had 144. There were also some people who had opened hundreds of apertures and had cast their bodies at 18 or higher. This was not a joke. The human race did not have any advantage in this aspect. Apart from some geniuses, most of them had encountered godly demons, and it was normal for them to be killed by others. After thinking about it, the old man asked, Sir, are you from the Great Qin, Great Xia, and Great Zhou manners? No. From the Dual Saint manners? No, from the Great Ming manners. This time, the old man and the others instantly stopped. The 10 or so people gradually left Su Yu. Following this person was too dangerous, and it was easy to be killed. They were worried that he wouldn't have much combat power and would be killed in an instant, then they would most likely suffer. F***ck. A civilized master from Daming Prefecture. Did you think that you were here to play? It would be better if you were a warrior. The warriors from Daming Prefecture were quite good at fighting. However, civilized masters, from the myriad races in the heavens, liked to kill civilized masters from Daming Prefecture. They had many methods. The key was that some methods were so F***king speechless. During a battle, they could turn you into a beauty. Were you afraid? Was this fellow out to court death? Su Yu was also slightly startled when he saw this. He quickly laughed and said, What's wrong with the civilized masters of the Daming Prefecture? Old brother, I'm not afraid, so why are you afraid? The civilized masters of the Daming Prefecture have many tricks up their sleeves. Now that a few experts have come, I'll kill them for you to see. As he was speaking, Su Yu instantly disappeared. In the next moment, a huge hammer smashed down in the air. Boom! With an explosive sound, a shadow flashed and disappeared. Before he had the time to move, another hammer smashed down. Boom! This time, the vultures who were fleeing were all somewhat surprised. In the air, a shadow appeared. As for Su Yu, his white robe was still the same as before. He stepped through the air and said with a smile, Interesting. The Shadow Clan. I like the Shadow Clan. The Shadow Clan is very fun. At this moment, that shadow wanted to run away. He had encountered a tough opponent. He felt a little dizzy. Just as he was about to leave, before he could run away, his vision blurred. In the next moment, a huge hammer smashed down once again. With a bang, the shadow completely appeared. Su Yu reached out his hand and grabbed. With a creak, he crushed the shadow's head. Right at this moment, Su Yu did not stop. Suddenly, he grabbed towards the shadow's heart. The shadow's head was crushed and the blood in the heart was stimulated. Just as he was about to escape, with a poochie sound, Su Yu's hand pierced through the heart. With a poochie sound, he grabbed out a black heart. Bang! The heart exploded. Su Yu's willpower moved and the blood gathered. In the blink of an eye, it formed a ball of blood and was stored in Su Yu's storage ring. Everything happened too quickly. Su Yu returned to the earth dragon beast in an instant and laughed. Brother, continue. You guys keep the corpse. I'll take the blood. First level Ling Yun, how much is it worth? Behind him, the old man's face was filled with shock. He swallowed his saliva and said carefully, Sir, this is the Shadow Clan. Although they aren't ranked in the top 100, they are only below the top 100. They are a large clan with an invincible presence. Suyu said nonchalantly, invincible presence? How many of us humans are invincible? Why would we care about a race with an invincible presence? It's the Shadow Clan. I know. What's wrong? Nothing. It was just shock and fear. Damn, what a ruthless fellow. In the blink of an eye, he had killed a Shadow Clan member of the same level. The Shadow Clan was known as the killers of all clans, and their strength was on par with yours. However, assassinating someone a few levels higher than him, was not difficult at all. For the other party to be able to sneak in, it was not surprising at all. After all, the boundary line was too long. For the Shadow Clan to be able to sneak in, it would be very difficult for them to be discovered. As long as they were not close to the base camp, they would not easily get into trouble. But now, they were killed in the blink of an eye. Ling Yun realm. The old man was terrified, but he was really brave. In the next moment, more than 10 people pounced on the Shadow's body. After the Shadow Clan was killed and the blood was extracted, the rest of the items could be sold for money. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1544. 1544 Chapter 352 was a good start. 5. The old man was afraid that Suyu wouldn't understand, so he hurriedly said, Sir, to kill these 10,000 races, you need to take some things and go to the military for certification. There are also rewards for killing. Killing a Ling Yun will usually be rewarded with thousands of merit points. A lot of them. Don't waste them. Ling Yun was considered a big shot, but this Ing clan was unlucky. Just as they came to ambush him, they were killed by Suyu. Suyu nodded, he smiled and said, I know, I've read the information, but my heart was crushed. Forget it, the normal Shadow Clan needs a heart to exchange for it. The military isn't stupid. They killed the Shadow Clan, but there weren't many who kept their hearts. What a scam. This time, the old man knew that this young man wasn't ignorant. The Shadow Clan indeed needed a heart to exchange for merit points. They quickly collected the corpses, while Suyu was calm and unhurried. He watched from not far away and said with a smile, You say, this Shadow Clan is so weak, yet they still dare to sneak in. Won't Invincible discover them and casually shock them to death? Sir has misunderstood. Under normal circumstances, Invincible would not casually release his willpower to investigate. The old man knew that he was a layman, he hurriedly said, Invincible also needs to cultivate, and he also needs to be busy with other things. Covering all directions requires a large amount of willpower. Unless he is extremely close to Invincible, otherwise, these big shots would not constantly investigate all directions. Suyu understood and said, Brother, didn't you say that there would be heaven and earth rewards for killing a few people? The old man and his companions quickly packed up the corpses and were a little speechless. After thinking for a while, he explained, Sir, that requires killing someone of a higher realm. Moreover, not all killing someone of a higher realm would have heaven and earth rewards. The chances of heaven and earth rewards are actually very rare. Sometimes, you actually don't know how to judge. For example, if you kill a mountain and sea realm, there might not necessarily be a reward. It depends on luck. It's that troublesome. Suyu shook his head. It was really troublesome. However, it was still alright. He killed a Lingyun realm Shadow Clan and obtained some Shadow Clan blood essence. It was actually still alright. It was only the first level of Lingyun realm. Su Yu was not afraid at all. Moreover, he was very familiar with the Shadow Clan. It was also good that he had not devoured the Shadow Clan's blood essence. Su Yu saw that the shadow he brought was still rather obedient, so he did not say anything about forcing it to give its blood essence. This was considered a civilized master, right? The Shadow Clan wasn't easy to judge, but Su Yu felt that this should be a civilized master. Perhaps he could get some of the cultivation techniques of a civilized master. Picking up money when you go out. Your luck isn't bad. Su Yu laughed. Sure enough, Hall Master Lu's blessing was still useful. He picked up a Shadow Clan when he went out, and it was Ling Yun's. It was a good start. Those vultures didn't say a word. However, they knew in their hearts that they had really met a powerful genius. How could it be so easy to kill him? An ordinary Ling Yun was instantly assassinated by this Shadow Clan member. However, this person had killed this Shadow Clan member in the blink of an eye. From the looks of it, he seemed to be at ease and was extremely ruthless. This person had probably killed many people. Since when did such a genius appear in the Daming Mansion? Su Yu did not care about them. After they were done packing up, they continued on their journey. He smiled and said, "Everyone, come with me. We'll talk as we walk. I've discovered that Vulture knows quite a lot of things. If we encounter these things again later, I'll kill them. As long as they have blood essence, you can collect their corpses. It'll be the best of both worlds." How great would that be? Sir. The old man laughed dryly and said, "You can leave first. We still have other matters to attend to, so we won't disturb, sir." Forget it. Although there might really be a fortuitous encounter, but, following this person, he sensed danger. Vulture's sense of danger was still very sharp. Before the old man left, he still reminded, "Sir, if you kill too much, the smell of blood is too strong. It's easy to provoke some experts. If it's not necessary, sir, it's better to kill less." Thank you for the reminder. Su Yu was deep in thought and felt a little regretful. He hurriedly said, "Then will consuming the blood essence provoke the experts?" "It will. Sir, please try to be careful." "Thank you." Su Yu nodded. "I understand. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have washed my blood essence." "Forget it. If I don't wash it, I might be targeted by Zhang He. It's too hard to be a person. It seems like I have to absorb more blood essence. I don't have to look for people on my own initiative. I hope that there won't be any strong people looking for me. If I kill a few of Ling Yun's men, let me start off with a few hits." Su Yu didn't mind that the old man had left. There were many vulture teams like this. If there was anything, he could just ask a few of them. Ignoring those who had left, he sped up. "Let's go to the front line to take a look. Maybe we can kill a few more to have some fun." Thinking of this, Su Yu sped up and soon, he disappeared from where he was. After he left, a moment later, someone rushed over and looked around. After checking for a while, he muttered, "This guy is not weak. It's time for the Heaven Hunting Pavilion to give this guy a name list." A Shadow Clan member was killed in the blink of an eye. Chui Lang was on the yellow roll, so he didn't think it was a problem. The person soon disappeared. After he left for a while, Su Yu suddenly returned to his original spot. Looking at the direction that person left, he rubbed his chin and smiled. Was this the Heaven Hunting Pavilion's guy? Or was he sent by someone else to check on him? Interesting. In the human realm, I don't dare to kill casually. Here. I think I should kill more people to have fun. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1545. 1545 Chapter 353 The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth 1. Su Yu quickly followed that person and flew into the sky. This was his first time in the heavenly battlefield and he had actually followed someone else. Not to mention, he was also a little excited. Just as he was excited, Su Yu turned around and ran. His speed was extremely fast. In less than 3 seconds, the space fluctuated and a dark shadow appeared. The person smiled faintly and said, "What a vigilant kid. Interesting." After a while, the young man who had left earlier appeared with a mask on. He said softly, "Elder, has he left?" "He left." The person who had broken through space chuckled and said, "He's too sharp." "Interesting. Let's put him on the list. There are 360 people on the yellow list, and he's ranked 360. "Yes." The young man replied and said, "Has he found the elder?" "Perhaps." The person smiled and said, "Weapon Forging Division, interesting. Daming Manor's Weapon Forging Division, Daming Manor. There hasn't been any movement for many years." After saying that, he reached out his hand and grabbed the young man before quickly disappearing from the spot. Not long after they disappeared, a group of armored warriors rushed over through the void. Their black armor covered their faces, and the leader's eyes were cold. He looked around and snorted coldly. "A bunch of scum." Beside him, the deputy general said in a low voice, "General, are they from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion?" "They are from the 4 ranks of the Heaven Hunting Pavilion. It seems like they are here to investigate Chui Lang's strength." The black-armored general said coldly, "Continue chasing. How dare they come to the east? Kill them all." "Yes, General." This group of warriors quickly disappeared. They were all strong people. There were many Shanghai Realm warriors, and the 2 leaders were Sun Moon Realm experts. They were here to kill the Heaven Hunting Pavilion members. And at this moment, Su Yu, who had already escaped, wiped the sweat off his forehead. F***CK. What the hell? Was the Sun Moon Realm not worth anything? How could a Sun Moon Realm expert appear after a casual backtracking? Luckily, I was vigilant and ran quickly. It seemed like there were other experts chasing after me. Otherwise, I might have died. My previous ambition to kill to my heart's content disappeared instantly. I admit defeat. I'll stop flaunting it. The heavenly battlefield was too dangerous. To encounter a Sun Moon Realm cultivator so easily, how could he be so unreasonable? Didn't they say that the Sun Moon Realm was extremely rare on the battlefield? How did I encounter it so quickly? Su Yu felt some lingering fear. On the battlefield, if he didn't have many skills, he really wouldn't be able to survive. Forget it, I'll keep a low profile. Su Yu chose to keep a low profile and instantly changed his white robe to a green robe. He wanted to keep a low profile. The white robe was too coquettish, so the green robe kept a much lower profile. He continued to move forward and soon caught up with his Earth Dragon beast. When he saw it, Su Yu's expression changed. He could not help but curse, "You stole an Earth Dragon beast. So be it." F***CK, what is the meaning of stealing a leg? Haven't you eaten the legs of an Earth Dragon beast before? What kind of people were they? The Earth Dragon beast in front of him actually lost a leg and even helped to heal its injuries. The Earth Dragon beast was still alive, but a 3-legged Earth Dragon beast. Were you using it as a mount? Su Yu cursed, but he was extremely vigilant in his heart. What the hell? He had only left for a short while, and the Earth Dragon beast's leg had been chopped off. What was going on? It was fine if he hadn't reached the heavenly battlefield, but now that he had arrived, he felt that danger was everywhere. So dangerous. Su Yu kept a low profile. He chose to add a cloak to himself and instantly disappeared on the spot with the cloak. He didn't want the Earth Dragon beast anymore. You're ruthless. He was not too sure who did this. In any case, he was not weak, so he had to be careful. At the same time, a few kilometers away from Su Yu, 2 people gathered. A man and a woman, both very young. The man carried a huge earth dragon beast leg and walked back. He smiled and said, "There's food now. I don't know which idiot left the earth dragon beast in the wild. I'll remove a leg and come back to taste it." The woman's face was cold. She glanced at the man and said indifferently, "Boring." "Boring?" The young man chuckled and said, "How is it boring? I'm hungry. An ownerless earth dragon beast. Am I boring after taking off one of my legs?" Recently, the Eastern War Zone has been a little chaotic. When I went there just now, I seem to have seen people from the pure evil army. I don't know if they went to chase after the heaven hunting pavilion or someone else. Pure evil army? The woman was a little surprised. So close. People from the heaven hunting pavilion? They came to kill us? Then I don't know. The man began to grill the earth dragon beast's thigh. While grilling, he said, "Old Wu." "Humph." The woman snorted coldly, but the man didn't care. He continued to lower his head and grill. "Old Wu, do you think those guys won't dare to come and kill you if I follow you? Why don't I retreat a little and you cooperate with me? I feel like I'm going to advance soon. Why don't you hook up with a few geniuses and kill them for me?" Huang Teng. The woman was none other than Wuxia, who Su Yu knew. At this moment, her expression was cold as she said angrily, "Get away from me as soon as possible. Don't follow me all the time. You're so annoying." Huang Teng. The man's appearance was very ordinary. He was not as overbearing as he had imagined. Instead, he looked like a brother next door. Hearing this, he smiled and said, "I didn't follow you. I ran into you on the way. After all, you're from the Great Xia Mansion. I'm worried about your safety. You're a person on the heaven hunting list. I'll protect you along the way. Get lost." "Woman, you're really impolite." Huang Teng quickly roasted the earth dragon beast's thigh and added some seasonings. He smiled and said, "I'll leave after eating. You take it easy. It's possible that the heaven hunting pavilion is nearby. Also, it's best not to go out to the front line in the near future. Someone from the demon race is looking for you. Will I be afraid of them?" Wu Qi sneered and said, "That's good too. How many people do you want to raise the ranking?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1546. 1546 Chapter 353 The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth 2. Women, long hair, short knowledge. Huang Teng shook his head. There are people from the sure demon race here. Beating you is still very easy. Do you really think you are a god of war? Wu Qi ignored him and sat cross-legged. Huang Teng, on the other hand, was squatting on the ground. His front and back legs were spread apart, looking very much like a starting movement. Wu Qi did not care. Civilized masters and warriors fought in different ways. Huang Teng threw a piece of meat to Wu Qi. Wu Qi did not refuse. He did not care whether it was washed or not. He took a bite and said calmly, "Huang Teng, you have been following me for the past 2 days. What is the meaning of this? Don't talk to me about protection." Huang Teng did not reply. He wiped his mouth with his dirty battle robe and continued eating. As he ate, he said, "There is no meaning. There is really someone who wants to kill you. Go back as soon as possible. The brother of the demon that you killed back then found me. He has already said that he will definitely kill you if he meets you." Wu Qi smiled brightly, revealing his snow-white teeth. "I'm waiting for him to kill me. If I kill him, there will definitely be a reward from heaven and earth. It would be more interesting if he could give me a natural divine text. Woman, my father said that you should stay at home to nurse your child and insist on going to the battlefield. A woman like you can't get married." Wu Qi's expression was cold and fierce as he fiercely swept a glance at him. Huang Teng, you only dare to say these things in front of me. No. Huang Teng's mouth was dripping with oil as he said with a smile, I've said it in front of a lot of people. The last time I was in the Demon Suppression Army, I spoke to Deputy General Zhang and was beaten up by her. But my meaning is still the same. The Deputy General of the Demon Suppression Army was a woman. A very valiant woman. Wuxia did not want to bother with him. After eating, she got up and was about to leave. Huang Teng quickly followed. Wuxia tilted her head and said coldly, are you leaving or not? Huang Teng, don't look for trouble. After saying that, she snorted coldly. I'm not that trash Bai Feng. If you follow me again, I won't be polite to you. Bai Feng is alright. He's not too useless. Huang Teng explained, actually, he's really alright. It's just that he has a lot of thoughts. He's not all focused on martial arts. He should be more focused. He insisted on doing some research and delayed his progress. Otherwise, you shouldn't be as good as him. Wuxia ignored him and quickly flew away. Seeing this, Huang Teng shook his head and said, I'm serious. There's really someone who wants to kill you. That fellow is a demon expert. He's at the 9th level of Ling Yun. You're not a match for him. Woman, you must be stubborn. After saying this, he followed up once again. At this moment, the geniuses in the entire Eastern War Zone were spread out in all directions. The battle on the front lines broke out. There would definitely be some people sneaking in. Some people wanted to kill the intruders, while others wanted to cross the front lines and enter the front lines to clash with the enemy geniuses. As for Su Yu, he had missed the opportunity to meet Huang Teng and the others. Of course, even if he met them, he wouldn't act together with them. Huang Teng, the guy who had beaten up his master 3 times, had promised Bai Feng that he would find trouble with him sooner or later. Su Yu did not have a mount, and his speed was not slow either. At this moment, he was even more vigilant. It was very dangerous. But it was very exciting. It was this feeling. The sense of danger was everywhere. Danger was everywhere. It was like a dream back then. In any case, there was danger everywhere. He felt that wherever he went, there would be danger. Now, this feeling was back. The calamity divine text was jumping, and the calm divine text was also jumping. It helped Su Yu calm his mind and focus, reducing the sense of danger from others. This was the first time he walked out of Eastleigh City. Su Yu felt as if he had entered a hunting game. It was very fun. During the battle at the front lines, some people seemed to have snuck in. At this moment, they seemed to be looking for prey. How exciting! Was the heavenly battlefield always this exciting? Su Yu didn't know that this hadn't happened for many years. Although the battle at the vanguard camp was intense, it was just like this year. The situation of continuous battles was only seen 50 years ago, and it was rarely seen in the past 50 years. Su Yu's figure was faintly discernible as he rose and fell in the air. Below him, some vultures were also rushing to the front lines. There were also some lone rangers who might be looking for prey and opportunities. Killing was the main theme of the heavenly battlefield. The sensory jade was raised to its highest point. Su Yu was also fully focused and tensed up. In the distance, a battle seemed to have erupted. Su Yu sensed for a moment and quickly rushed over. In less than a minute, he arrived at the place. Just as he was about to turn invisible to watch the battle, he saw a person dragging a corpse and quickly disappearing. The one who won seemed to be a human while the one who was killed was a great demon. The person who disappeared did not even turn his head back. He shouted, Jean Bue of the Great Gold Mansion, do not disturb your fellow clansmen. After he finished speaking, he had completely disappeared. It's him. Su Yu knew this person. The genius powerhouse of the Great Gold Mansion was also on the yellow list. He seemed to be ranked rather high, not inferior to Wuxia of the Great Xia Mansion. After sensing for a moment, he was secretly speechless. It seemed like a 7th level Ling Yun had been killed. F***CK. Who told me that I could live a comfortable life in the celestial battlefield? Look at how long I've been here. I killed a Ling Yun, and this guy killed a Ling Yun. In the blink of an eye, 2 Ling Yun had already died, and I can still live a comfortable life in the air. Just as he was thinking, Su Yu's eyes flickered and he instantly disappeared from where he was. With a poochie sound, the void on the spot exploded, and an arrow exploded. In the distance, a figure flashed and disappeared. F***CK. Su Yu quickly flew through the air. Fine, he dares to ambush me. His speed was extremely fast. The other party was even faster, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared from where he was. After they chased for a while and disappeared one after another, there were still some people who came from where they were. Someone probed for a while and said with a laugh, "It seems to be a mystic shattering arrow. Is that guy from the Yuan mansion testing the newcomers? Has a newcomer entered? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories." Chapter 1547. 1547 Chapter 353 The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth 3. I guess so. Which newcomer from the big mansion has arrived recently? That fellow Yuan Shihao has some mental problems. It's not the first time he's been beaten up because of this matter. I hope this newcomer is useful. If he's caught, I'll beat him up. He might not be able to beat him. Yuan Shihao is sick, but his strength is really not bad. While they were discussing, Su Yu chased after him for a while. In front of him, a young man stopped. His eyes were filled with madness. He glanced at Su Yu and laughed without restraint. He's so slow. You can't do it. Cui Lang from Daming Prefecture. It's better for those who cast their weapons to cast their weapons. It's a hunting activity. The weak have no right to participate in our matters. You're sick. Su Yu cursed. F***CK, it was actually a human. However, the arrow from before was fast, and its lethality was average. It might have been a test shot. You know that I'm sick. The young man smiled so much that his teeth were exposed, and they were filled with coldness. Cui Lang, you're too weak. Hurry up and scram. Otherwise, I'll use you to fish for some fellows. You. Su Yu smiled and observed for a while. After a while, he said, "Follow me. There are many people here, and many guys are hiding in the dark. It's not easy to fish. Come, I'll take you to a place with few people to fish." After saying that, Su Yu's figure flashed and soon disappeared from this place. Yuan Shihao chuckled and quickly disappeared as well. A few minutes later, there was a mountain in front of Su Yu. Su Yu also stopped in his tracks and instantly disappeared into the void. In the blink of an eye, Yuan Shihao appeared. He looked around and his eyes flickered. A longbow appeared in his hand. He drew the longbow and shot an arrow at the direction where Su Yu had just disappeared. Bang! The air exploded and at the same time, a huge hammer appeared above Yuan Shihao's head. Yuan Shihao's Yuan Qi exploded and the hammer exploded with a boom. In the blink of an eye, dozens of hammers appeared in all directions. Boom! The sounds of explosions continued as the hammers struck crazily. At the same time, they shook incessantly. The hammers stacked on top of each other, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, all the way to 18 times. With a loud boom, Yuan Shihao's willpower defense was broken through. Bang! His head felt dizzy and he was secretly shocked. Before he could think much, an extremely powerful flame burned. With a puff, his clothes were completely burned, and even the hair on his body disappeared instantly. He became a naked egg. In the next moment, a fist appeared. With a bang, Yuan Shihao's face was flattened, his nose collapsed, and blood flowed out. Su Yu appeared and observed his surroundings. He sneered, "Kid, you were still playing with eggs when your master Lang was traveling in the Jianghu. If you were not within the range of the human race and the first arrow was not a killer, you would have died." With that, Su Yu disappeared. As for Yuan Shihao, he only woke up after 1 or 2 seconds. He rubbed his nose and his hands were full of blood. He did not care and chuckled, "Interesting. Chui Lang, I'll remember you." Lunatic. Su Yu, who had left, cursed. That fellow was a lunatic. Su Yu could feel it. Was that Yuan Shihao from the De Yuan mansion? There were some records in the information he saw. He was just a patient. He had been caught by the military a few times for this matter. They didn't kill him because he wasn't in the mood to kill. However, that fellow from the vanguard camp had entered twice, once in the sky, and once in Lingyun. Every time, he killed someone and returned. If he made another mistake, he would go in again. It seemed like he wanted to go in again. Yes, he might have wanted to go in. In the vanguard unit, there were the most battles and the most killings. Some people were crazy and often made mistakes. They would go in by themselves and kill people in a justified manner. Su Yu rubbed his chin. "Why don't I go in too?" "Forget it. I went in. There were too many people, so it wasn't good for me to display my strength. This Yuan Shihao's strength isn't bad, but he might not have displayed his full strength just now. Just like Su Yu, everyone should suppress him a little. Otherwise, they might not be able to defeat him so easily. The 18 Tremors Hammer Man's effect isn't bad, but that's the best I can do. Teacher Zhao is still the best. With more than 100 tremors, with a single hammer strike, even the mountains and seas will faint." At this moment, Su Yu thought of old Zhao. Now that Zhao Li had entered the mountains and seas, with that powerful earth soldier, coupled with his strong willpower and the god-expanding hammer, Su Yu felt that even an ordinary 5th or 6th level of the mountains and seas could faint with a single strike. As for himself, he was still far from that. He wasn't good at the god-expanding technique. Otherwise, with a single strike, Yuan Shihao and Wang Shihao would be finished. "I'm not interested in playing with you guys," Su Yu muttered. In the human territory, he didn't dare to reveal his strength and went to the front line. This was the hinterland, so there wasn't much meaning. This time, it would be best if he didn't kill a few people. It wasn't for the reward, but for the battle. After suppressing himself for a long time, he felt that he was really weak. Su Yu didn't linger any longer, and he didn't have the mood to admire the beautiful starlight anymore. If it was outside the human realm, he would have been able to beat Yuan Shihao to death. But if it was within the human realm, it would have been fine. Otherwise, Invincible would have accidentally found out about it. There were some people who lacked social beatings. Not everyone was willing to play with you. Su Yu sped up and continued forward. The vanguard unit was right in front. Perhaps, he could see Lu Laoshi, but he didn't know if there was any danger. Of course, he wouldn't participate in the battle of the vanguard unit. There might be Invincible watching over there. Moreover, the vanguard battalion still had a few enemies. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1548. 1548 Chapter 353 The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth. Chiu subscribe, 4. One was Zhou Mingren, one was Xing Yuming, and one was Ma Golao. They were all from the Great Xia Manor's single god language department. It was unknown if these guys were looking for trouble, but Zhou Mingren seemed to have left on the second day of the public trial. He should have arrived at the vanguard camp by now. Su Yu sped up and ran towards the front line. At the same time, in a huge valley, the vanguard camp was engaged in a huge battle. Countless demons were attacking. In the sky, a few huge dragons were circling. At this moment, there were many experts gathered here. The slaughter was endless. There were people and demons dying in the bloody valley. Among the huge dragons that were circling, one of the golden dragons looked down with its huge eyes and said coldly, "Hand over the dragon race's captured disciples. Otherwise, the dragon race will not let this matter rest." Bang! Just as he finished speaking, a long spear appeared and pierced through his abdomen. Golden blood dripped down and a black-armored expert snorted. "Long worm, you talk too much. Are you here to chat?" As soon as he finished speaking, the sun and moon rotated on the long spear. 5.5 moons appeared. In the blink of an eye, the golden dragon was sent flying and its roar resounded through the sky and earth. The sun and moon battle broke out in the sky. On the ground, Lu Wenyan was running around under the protection of his uncle. His robe was tied to his waist, and his figure flickered on the ground. From time to time, he rolled around, avoiding the attacks of some people. Lu Wenyan laughed. He was no longer as elegant as he usually was. If Su Yu saw him, he would probably say that his character had collapsed. At this moment, Lu Wenyan's actions were somewhat similar to those of the vultures. Underground, a huge tail suddenly appeared, sweeping towards him. Lu Wenyan let out a low roar, and the axe in his hand instantly appeared. With a poochie sound, he chopped off the tail. In the next moment, a divine text was smashed into the ground. Boom! The hard ground was blasted into pieces. A huge python had its tail broken, and its head had been blown away. Just as Lu Wenyan was about to leave, thousands of soul-devouring bugs flew out of the broken python's stomach. They were all very small, and they instantly covered him. Soul-devouring bugs. In order to kill me, they were really unscrupulous. These soul-devouring bugs weren't strong, and they were very small. However, they all spat out saliva. Even from a distance, they could feel that their willpower had been corroded. The surrounding civilized masters all revealed pained expressions. "Corrode me." Lu Wenyan suddenly punched out with a black light. An intense corrosive power burst forth, soul-devouring art. Poochie. The corrosive power clashed with the corrosive power. In the blink of an eye, over 100 soul-devouring bugs on the opposite side were directly corroded into ashes. The remaining ones were just about to continue spitting out saliva when golden flames appeared and boiled. With a whing sound, they covered all of the soul-devouring bugs. Those soul-devouring bugs were instantly turned into ashes. Tch. Lu Wenyan snorted in disdain and raised his head to take a look. He shouted, "Uncle, come back." In the air, a white-haired old man pushed back an expert with a punch and quickly flew toward Lu Wenyan. His movements were extremely agile. He landed on the ground, grabbed Lu Wenyan, and jumped continuously. In the blink of an eye, he left the place. Not long after he left, there were 2 suns and moons fighting at that place, causing the place to explode. Lu Wenyan, who was grabbed and left, snorted. He glanced at the sun and moon fighting and said with a smile, "Old Zhou, if you continue to fight at my place, I won't be polite to you." Zhou Mingren ignored him. Lu Wenyan's uncle was also a sun and moon expert in the past. However, he had fallen to the 8th layer of the mountain and sea realm. When he saw the situation, he frowned slightly and transmitted his voice, "Don't bother about him. He might not be able to defeat the other party on purpose. Don't worry about him." Lu Wenyan looked around and let out a breath. This battle is getting more and more intense. Luckily, Bai Feng has left. If he doesn't leave now, he won't be able to live long in this damn place. You can also leave. You are already exonerated. Lu Wenyan shook his head and said telepathically, "No, the rear is safe, but there is no way to activate my divine text. Only by constantly fighting can my divine text be activated." After saying this, he said telepathically, "Uncle, if you encounter danger, run." You are not from the vanguard unit, so it's fine even if you run. It doesn't count as disobeying a military order. Uncle Lu didn't say anything. Run. The Lu family was gone, so what was there to run about? Only he and Lu Wenyan were left in the direct line of descent. The sun and moon of the past were now heavily injured. They were just mountains and seas, and the longer they stayed, the weaker their battle prowess would be. What was there to run about? He would protect his nephew for the last period of time, at least until his nephew's divine runes were fully activated. Lu Wenyan did not say anything else. He quickly rushed into a battle zone. Most of the people there were soaring in the sky. Uncle Lu did not participate in the battle. He was extremely vigilant and cautious, guarding against any hidden attacks. There were battles going on in all directions. In the past few months, the Vanguard Battalion had fought 7 to 8 times. Every time, a large number of people were lost. The Vanguard Battalion, which originally had 7 to 8,000 people, only had about 5,000 people left after a few battles. Along with a large number of killings, a small cloud suddenly appeared above the head of a huge tiger in the distance. And at this moment, the sun and moon on both sides erupted with their full strength, causing rumbling sounds to resound through the world. From all directions, the human experts charged towards the tiger. The tiger was also greatly alarmed. The cloud had appeared too quickly. In the blink of an eye, it entered its body and a large amount of heavenly yuan qi erupted. Its body was instantly strengthened by a large amount, but at this moment, it was unable to move. Just as it was going crazy, a long blade pierced through its head. Idiot! You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1549. 1549 Chapter 353, The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth 5. A human expert with scars all over his face sneered and instantly disappeared from where he stood. To receive the rewards of heaven and earth in this place was like a target. This fierce tiger had probably killed many people before and had killed too many people. The smell of blood was extremely dense, which was why the rewards had come. Unfortunately, this place was really not suitable for such a good thing to happen. It was a target and also a life-hastening talisman. Before his physical body could be fully strengthened, he had already fallen here. The slaughter continued, and everyone was already used to it. This wasn't the first time the Vanguard Battalion had encountered such a situation. Those who were lucky would receive a reward, while those who were unlucky would naturally die on the spot. After another moment of intense battle, the sound of drums could be heard. In the air, a few giant dragons quickly abandoned their opponents and flew over the mountains, starting to retreat. Below the ground, the demon race experts also displayed their abilities. In the blink of an eye, they all retreated from the battlefield. The great battle had come to an end. Such massacres were common these days, and today could only be considered a small battle. And below the ground, corpses were everywhere. Some were from the demon race, and some were from the human race. The blood essence of many demons and humans had been drained long ago. Some demons and humans would drain the blood essence of their opponents while they were killing. Retreat. In the air, the sun and the moon, who had been fighting the golden dragon, also shouted loudly. They did not pursue. Such a great battle was only a test. There was no need to pursue. The experts of the Vanguard Battalion quickly retreated. Soon, a team of inspectors left the battlefield and began to clean up the battlefield. They collected the spoils of war and recorded the military merits in an orderly manner. Not far away, some vultures saw the inspectors leave the battlefield and left regretfully. This was the normal state of the battlefield. If the battle continued and both sides were unable to clean up the battlefield, these vultures would come to clean up the battlefield. Lu Wenyan also killed another third-level Lingyun expert. He smiled happily as he followed his uncle and left. He transmitted his voice, my strength has increased a little, but, if I continue to kill, I'm afraid that I'll receive a heaven and earth reward next time. It'll be quite troublesome. Uncle Lu sent a telepathic message. If it doesn't work, I'll take you out alone. Find a place to kill some demons. Digest the reward first, then come back. We'll see. Lu Wenyan was already at the 9th level of the soaring heavens realm, but his speed was too slow. He felt that it was too slow. With this strength, how could he take revenge? Although he had just entered the 9th level of the soaring heavens realm in a year or so, he was still not satisfied. Even the 9th level of the mountain and sea realm was not enough. Ling Yun should be here soon. But the 9th level of the soaring heavens realm might take a year. He was confident that he could enter the mountain and sea realm in 3 years. However, 3 years was too long, and he didn't have the time. Lu Wenyan was thinking about something when an expert in front of him shouted, "Are you courting death? This is a war zone, where the vanguard camp is located. Stop right there. If you dare to trespass, I'll kill you." A figure appeared in the distance. Su Yu was taken aback, and he nearly barged into the war zone. This was extremely dangerous. He stopped outside the war zone and glanced in the direction of the Grand Canyon. Corpses were strewn all over the place. After passing through the Grand Canyon, he would be outside the human tribe's defensive zone. This canyon was called the East Rift Valley, and it spanned across a huge area of several hundred li. Su Yu didn't care about the sun and moon in the sky. He hadn't entered the war zone yet, so he was looking for someone. He looked around, but he didn't see Lu Wenyan. He was a little surprised. Could it be that his teacher, could it be? In the next moment, he vaguely saw a person, and he felt that the person was a little familiar. He took a closer look. The heck? Teacher? He nearly didn't recognize him. Are you kidding me? Is my teacher like this? The robe of a civilized master was tied at his waist, revealing 2 hairy thighs. Is this Lu Wenyan? His beard was unkempt, and his white beard had turned into a gray beard. His hair was also messy. Is this Lu Wenyan? Stop fooling around. My teacher can't be so lame. If Wu Yuehua and the others saw this, would they still chase after my teacher? A kick would be more or less the same. F***ck. He had no image at all. His image had collapsed. Su Yu felt thunder rolling in his heart. 5 thunderbolts struck him. The fellow in front of him said that he was a pig butcher. No one doubted him. He even held a small axe in his hand. His hairy legs were bare, and there were many bloodstains on his clothes. Is this teacher? I don't believe it. I've mistaken him for someone else. In the distance, Lu Wenyan also glanced in that direction, but he didn't pay too much attention to it. A newcomer? He wasn't a member of the Vanguard Battalion, so he was rather courageous. He had rampaged on the battlefield, and he was afraid that he would be accidentally killed. What a hothead. He didn't seem like a vulture. Could it be that he was planning to cross the East Rift Valley and slaughter outside the defensive zone? He did not care about Su Yu. Of course, he felt a vague sense of familiarity, just like Hong Tan and the others back then. However, he did not think too much about it. From afar, he saw the other party, but he did not recognize him. He had never seen him before, perhaps it was because he felt a sense of familiarity due to his friendly appearance. He did not care, but Su Yu was excited. However, when he saw a general flying towards him, he quickly said, "Leave immediately. I'm just passing by. Don't misunderstand. I'm a mystic rank pinnacle weapon forging master. I'm here to collect materials." The general who flew over glanced at him. Very soon, he took out a jade talisman and examined it. He shouted, "Chui Lang, this isn't a place you can come to. Walk further away. Furthermore, the East Rift Valley is ahead. Beyond that is beyond the human defense zone. At this moment, the black-armored sun and moon in the sky suddenly said, "Chui Lang of the Great Ming Mansion. He actually ran here. His legs are really fast. Pretty good. I'll take you. Help me repair my soldiers." As he said that, he was about to grab Su Yu. Su Yu turned around and ran at an extremely fast speed. As he ran, he said, "I don't forge soldiers. I still have things to do." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1550. 1550 Chapter 353 The Wolf in the Tiger's Mouth 6. You've been drafted. I'm from Daming Manor, I'm not drafted. The black-armored general laughed, "You're running again. If you keep running, you'll be wasting the opportunity. Hurry up, come with me to the Vanguard Battalion. Help us repair the soldiers. Pay up." No. Su Yu refused. It was not that he was unwilling to contribute, but he was worried that he would be imprisoned in the Vanguard Battalion by this fellow. He had heard that the attitude of the Vanguard Battalion was rude and unreasonable. The generals often did things like detaining people. Every day counted. They would only send people away when the higher-ups gave the order to reprimand them. "I have nothing better to do. What am I doing here? Running away." The black-armored general did not care about him, he shouted, "Men, stop him. Quasi-Earth Division, damn it." The last Earth Division in the camp was ambushed and killed. It has been a long time since someone repaired a soldier. The higher-ups have yet to find the next Earth Division. If they don't want their weapons to be destroyed in the next war, then catch him. Fix your weapons first. As soon as these words were said, more than 10 mountains and seas quickly flew toward Su Yu. Capture him. As for breaking the law, who cares, let's capture him first to fix the weapon first. As for being held accountable afterwards, they were already here. At most, they could just serve a few more months or a few more years. It was better than having their weapon destroyed and killed. Meanwhile, Lu Wenyan, who was below, inexplicably sympathized with this fellow. Quasi-Earth Armament Master. He could be considered an important figure, but it was a pity that he had come to this place. Everyone's eyes were red, and their weapons were about to explode. Since no Earth Armament Master was willing to come, it was good that he had come. "I'll take you." Not to mention, he was also a little excited. My weapon was about to explode, and so was my uncle's. It would be best if I caught him. He was also shouting excitedly from below, "Don't let him escape. Catch him and repair his weapon for 3 months. Everyone will bear the consequences. Catch him. Quick, catch him." To the left, F***CK, "How stupid, I'll do it. Get out of the way, catch this brat. Brat, fix my weapon for me, I'll give you 10,000 merit points." One expert after another swiftly flew towards Su Yu. Catching this quasi-Earth Division, the Earth Division that had delivered itself to Su Yu's doorstep, was simply too lucky. If he didn't do it, why not just break his leg and rest in the Vanguard camp for a few more months? As for breaking the law or committing a crime, we are all sinners, what's there to be afraid of? The fleeing Su Yu felt like crying but no tears came out. The heck? I want to go to the other side of the East Rift Valley to kill someone. I don't want to stay here to forge soldiers for others. Damn it, save me. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have come. I only wanted to see Lu Laoshi. Now that he has seen me, I have to leave. Also, Lu Laoshi isn't a human. Have you gone mad? You actually allowed someone to capture me, and your voice was very loud. I heard everything. Seeing that there were people everywhere in mountains and seas appearing one after another, Su Yu's state of mind collapsed. He hurriedly raised his hands and surrendered. He shouted, "I admit defeat. I am only responsible for repairing the weapons. Moreover, you must let me go within 3 days. Otherwise, I will not repair a single weapon. The Sun Moon Black Armor thought for a moment, nodded, and smiled. All right, 3 days it is. But if you fix it for me, if you fix it, I will reward you handsomely. If you are perfunctory, I will punish you for delaying the battle. You can stay in the vanguard battalion for the rest of your life. He was also happy. Very good. His luck was really good. During the battle just now, his Earthling soldiers were injured, and he still wanted to urge the headquarters to send an Earthling army division over. However, the headquarters had to negotiate with the Earthling army division, and most people were not willing to come to the vanguard battalion. Now, it was all good, a repair craftsman who had delivered himself to their door. He would first capture him back and see how good he was. After that, he would discuss with the headquarters whether he could recruit this fellow into the vanguard battalion. As for taking the initiative, that's impossible. Which Earth division went crazy and came to the vanguard unit to stay there permanently? The last one who was stationed there was killed by someone. Even now, he still regretted it. It was still alright if one of the Sun Moon Realm Earth division died, but the key was the Sun Moon Realm Earth division. Right now, the headquarters weapon forging division had attacked him many times. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1551. 1551 Chapter 354 Vanguard Army, LRB Subscription 1. Su Yu was also extremely depressed. This black armored general was extremely strong, and it was very likely that he was the general of the vanguard camp. Even if he wasn't, he was probably a rank 1 vice general. The vanguard camp was under the Sun Moon Camp, Shanghai Camp, Lingyun Camp, and Sky Camp. There were countless experts, and they were all vicious people. The general in charge here was extremely strong, and even the vice general was extremely strong. If one did not forcefully suppress these pricks at the forefront of the battle, they would not be able to suppress the enemies that were attacking them. They had been caught. At this moment, Su Yu raised his hand and surrendered. The surrounding mountains, seas, sun, and moon that were like a pack of hungry wolves were all beaming with joy. He was still polite. Weapon forging masters were often more popular than alchemists. One could avoid eating pills, but one could not leave their weapons behind. If their weapons were broken, they would have to be repaired. This was a matter of life and death. A group of people escorted Su Yu back. The Shanghai realm expert who had scolded Su Yu earlier rushed over and laughed, "I just told you to leave, but you didn't. It's too late to leave now." Su Yu's face was ugly. Any weapon forging division that was stopped by the vanguard unit would not have a good expression. The Shanghai general who had just arrived did not mind. He took off his helmet and revealed a pale and tired face. He looked at Su Yu and laughed. He looked like he was not young anymore. "My name is Hong Du, the vice general of the Shanghai battalion." The man introduced, he smiled and said, "Master Cui, I'll have to trouble you to repair the soldiers as soon as possible. These days, there have been many battles. Many of our brothers are injured, but they don't dare to use their weapons. The casualties are huge." Su Yu looked around and looked at the exhausted and wounded soldiers. He didn't say anything. Vanguard Battalion. A bunch of sinners. However, some things were really hard to say. For example, his teacher, Lu Wenyan, and Bai Feng had served in the Vanguard Battalion. Were they sinners? Su Yu did not think so. Of course, there were definitely sinners in the Vanguard Battalion. However, since they were not killed, it meant that they had not crossed the bottom line. For example, the Su Bin he knew, the big shot in women's clothing. If Daming Manor were to sentence him, that guy would most likely be sent to the Vanguard Battalion. It could not be said that he was innocent, but it was usually not a capital crime. Turning back to look at the large canyon, where corpses were strewn all over the place. Su Yu sighed in his heart. He still spoke rudely. It's not sweet to force things. I said 3 days, so be it. I will repair your weapons within 3 days. After 3 days, if you stop me again, I will give you a backup plan. Once the battle starts, the weapons will explode. I want to see if you dare to let me repair them. Once these words were said, Hongdu had a helpless look on his face. He said, Master Cui, don't be angry. We have no other choice. Otherwise, we wouldn't force you to help us. These people changed their expressions very quickly. Previously, they were scolding Cui Lang, but now, they turned around and became Master Cui. Su Yu was too lazy to say anything else. He turned his head and glanced at Lu Wenyan behind him. Suddenly, he snorted, we can't afford to offend the mountains, seas, sun, and moon. This little brother in the sky just shouted enthusiastically. I won't repair your weapons. Lu Wenyan was at a loss. F*ck, calling me little brother. How old are you? Looking at his strength again, he felt helpless. F*ck, I'm not even as good as a little doll. How sad. That Hongdu and some of the experts around also couldn't help but laugh. Hongdu saw Su Yu staring at Lu Wenyan and laughed. Master Cui, you probably know this person too. At least I've heard of his name. He's Lu Wenyan from the Great Xia Manor. Oh. Su Yu seemed to be at a loss and could not help but say, him. There are records in the Great Ming Manor that Lu Wenyan is elegant and unruly. Countless pampered women would chase after him. General Hong, are you not joking with me? He tilted his head and sized up Lu Wenyan with a look of complete disbelief. Lu Wenyan snorted and casually took off his robe to cover his hairy legs. What's wrong? Am I not elegant? I don't believe it. Su Yu clicked his tongue and smiled. He no longer looked at Lu Wenyan and looked at Hongdu. He smiled and said, General Hong, it seems that I can't stay in the vanguard unit for too long. Otherwise, if I become like this, I won't be able to live. I still care about my face. Hongdu also laughed. Su Yu said, right, which almighty general was that just now? If General Hong doesn't mind, tell me so that I can find the right person to complain to, right? Su Yu sneered, I'd like to see if there's no one who can make the decision to detain an Earth division at will. Hongdu was embarrassed. Just as he was about to speak, Lu Wenyan, who had just been rebuked, said faintly, aren't you a quasi-Earth division? Speaking of which, you're still at the mystic rank, right? Su Yu said disapprovingly, I'm just keeping a low profile outside. Do you believe that I'll create an Earth division for you to see now? Brother Lu, it's not 50 years ago now. Your era has passed. Now, it's the era of the new generation. Lu Wenyan's expression changed slightly, and he sighed and did not say anything else. Although it was unpleasant to hear, it was the truth. Hongdu coughed lightly when he heard this and said, Master Cui, don't bother with this guy. That person just now was the Deputy General of the Vanguard Army, Lord Chao, an expert at the 5th stage of the Sun-Moon realm. Deputy General? Su Yu nodded. I thought he was the main general. That's not true. Master Cui probably doesn't know much about the Vanguard Army. Hongdu explained, the Vanguard General is Lord Qin Guang, the second son of the great Qin King and an expert in the 8th stage of the Sun-Moon realm. However, he's not here right now. He's out on some business and will be back soon. Qin Guang, the younger brother of Qin Town, the Vanguard General. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1552 1552 Chapter 354, Vanguard Army, LRB Subscription 2. Su Yu thought about it and didn't say much. The Vanguard camp indeed needed a commander who could hold down the fort. If they were strong and dared to fight and kill, the experts of the Great Qin and Great Xia manors would be able to do so. The killing intent from these two manors was quite heavy. However, the Great Xia manors probably didn't have anyone capable of doing so. As they spoke, they had already retreated about 30 li. A massive mountain had been flattened, and it was unknown which expert had done it. A large mountain had been cut off, and the center platform was where the vanguard army was stationed. The vanguard army had over 5,000 people, and most of them were stationed here. This mountain was also known as Soul-Severing Mountain. Soul-Severing Mountain. Over 5,000 people. After fighting for a few more years, no one knew how many people would be able to return alive. These people might be sinners, but in terms of merit, they were all frighteningly high. The others began to return to the camp one after another, while Hongdu followed Su Yu. He helped him introduce. Currently, the vanguard army has 6 weapon forging divisions, 3 yellow rank and 3 black rank. However, there is only one high-rank black rank weapon forging division on the black rank side. Previously, there was an earth division stationed here. Hongdu paused and said, however, a few days ago, the gods, demons, and monsters attacked, and the battle was intense. Lord Zhang personally went out to battle and died. Su Yu frowned and said, even the earth division is going to battle. Lord Zhang asked for it himself. Hongdu explained. Su Yu still frowned and said, even if you asked for it yourself, you agreed? Also, didn't they say that Invincible would pay attention to the vanguard battalion? Why didn't they care about the Earth Division being killed? How many Earth Division are there in the human realm? Each major residence has stationed one, and the remaining ones are not enough for the various elite legions. The number of Earth Division might not be invincible. Could it be that in your eyes, the Earth Division is so cheap? That's not what I meant. Hongdu hurriedly explained this. Master Cui, we don't want to see such an outcome either. However, Lord Zhang is also at the Sun-Moon realm. If he insists, there's nothing we can do to dissuade him. As for the invincible lords, Hongdu hesitated for a moment before explaining. The concern of the invincible lords is only that they might intervene after the vanguard camp is broken. Before the vanguard camp is broken, they won't interfere. Otherwise, it'll be an invincible battle. Similarly, it's the same on the other side. Unrivaled lords might not always pay attention to us. Even if they do, it's still a small-scale war. Once unrivaled lords participate, it would be a large-scale war, rising to the unrivaled level. Su Yu understood. It wasn't that unrivaled lords didn't know, didn't intervene, didn't care, and didn't ask. But they couldn't. If unrivaled lords intervened on your side, then the scale of the war would instantly expand, rising to the unrivaled level of war. This was something that both unrivaled lords didn't want to erupt now. Without asking further, Hongdu descended from the sky. On the platform on the mountainside, there were many buildings that were built with huge rocks. In the central area, there was a huge stone building. Weapon Forging Hall, these were the 3 big words on the stone building. This place was the weapon forging ground of the vanguard unit. From inside, one could vaguely hear the sounds of forging. Hongdu smiled and said, Master Cui, this is the weapon forging hall of our vanguard unit. Usually, if anyone needs anything, they will come here. They are all charged and not forged for free. Our vanguard unit lacks other things, but we don't lack merit points. Su Yu asked in puzzlement, does the vanguard unit receive merit points for killing? Yes. Hongdu explained, of course, other than the merit points for killing, they will not receive the subsequent spoils of war. This is also the policy of the vanguard unit. After all, those who are sent here are all guilty and have done meritorious deeds. Su Yu nodded. I can tell that some people have been fighting for many years and have killed many people. Is this still not exonerating their crimes? Some don't want to leave. Hongdu was a little complicated. Very quickly, he said, there are too many killings. Some people leave this place and will soon commit crimes in other places. Some people don't agree with each other and like to kill. There are quite a number of such people, so even if their crimes are exonerated, they don't want to leave. Not all of the Vanguard Battalion are sinners. Hongdu sighed and said, some people want to release their killing desire. Some people have long been cleared of their crimes, but they can no longer be accepted into the human realm. Sometimes, other legions will recruit some, but these people are unruly and unruly. It is difficult for them to get along with the people in the legions. In the end, they all choose to come back and kill for their entire lives. They will fight here until they die. For a moment, Su Yu's emotions were complicated. Were these people considered sinners? They might have been guilty, but they had already atoned for their sins. However, due to the excessive killing, they were unable to restrain their killing intent. Even if they had returned to the human realm, they were still incompatible with the environment behind the human realm. Thus, they chose to return in the end. Just as he was thinking, the door of the Hall of Weapons Forging opened. A young man walked out with his head lowered as if he was thinking about something. When he sensed someone in front of him, he raised his head and saw Hongdu. He nodded his head casually. General Hong, is there something you need? A peak mystic rank weapon can be repaired, but my master might not be able to repair it. You can take care of it yourself. If it's damaged, you won't be responsible. Master Wang, you've suffered. Hongdu laughed and introduced, Master Wang, this is Master Cui, a Quasi-Earth Division soldier. General Chao has invited Master Cui to stay here for 3 days to repair some difficult-to-repair weapons for the Vanguard Army. Master Cui. The young man looked up at Su Yu and saw that he was very young. He was a little puzzled and asked hesitantly, you are? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1553. 1553 Chapter 354 Vanguard Army, LRB Subscription 3. Cui Lang. Cui Lang. The young man thought for a while and seemed to remember. He could not help but say, Cui Lang. Deming Mansion's Cui Lang. Why did you fool people again? When did you become a quasi-earth grade weapon forging division? Aren't you a yellow grade weapon forging division? Even if you've advanced, you're at the peak of primary Xian grade now. Are you kidding me? Su Yu pursed his lips. You're right. Even if Cui Lang has improved recently, he's already at the peak of elementary profound rank. However, I'm not Cui Lang. Believe it or not. Su Yu's face was filled with arrogance. Little Wang, you have to be more polite. Sometimes, forging weapons requires luck and talent. If I really forged an Earth soldier, would you have to kneel down and apologize? If you don't want to lose face, then stop blabbering. Otherwise, you won't be able to bring shame to the weapon forging division. Hearing those words, the young man was a little speechless. It's up to you. Cui Lang, if you are trying to fool people, there will only be a large number of people killed in this place. Be careful that you don't get killed. Don't court death yourself, or no one will be able to save you. Hongdu hurriedly smiled and said, how can that be? Master Cui is really capable. There has been news from the human realm. Is that so? The young man didn't comment. Since he didn't believe it, it was up to him. If Cui Lang didn't have the ability, he would be killed here. Anyway, he wouldn't take a second look. Then, I'll bring you guys in to see my master. Cui Lang, my master is a high-level profound rank. My master can see whether you have the true standard or not. Don't think that just because this place is filled with a bunch of killing talents, no one will expose you. Little Wang, if you don't apologize to me later, I'll have General Hong chop you to death. The young man curled his lips. All right, if you're really a true military master, then you have to apologize. I admit it. He still didn't believe it. He had met Cui Lang once. Of course, it had been many years, and he almost didn't recognize him anymore. He hadn't met Cui Lang before, but he knew that this fellow wasn't a good person. Sometimes, he would brag a little when he was drunk. Could it be that this fellow had bragged too much and was taken seriously? They didn't have any ill intentions. They were just reminding this fellow that this wasn't a human realm cultivator. It was truly a group of killers. It was easy to get into trouble if you were to spout nonsense. General Chao and the others were all killers, so they were careful not to get beaten to death. The young man led the two of them forward. The hall was very big, and it was separated into many weapon forging rooms. Soon, the young man led them to the innermost hall. The place was huge. At this moment, a white-haired old man was leading a few young men to look at a middle-aged weapon forging room. Sensing that someone was coming, the old man turned around to take a look. When he saw the young man and Hongdu, he nodded slightly, puzzled. He asked, "Is the battle over? Do you want to repair the weapons?" Anyone below the high level of the mystic rank can be used to repair them. However, there is a certain possibility of failure when repairing them at the peak. The old man was only a high-level mystic rank weapon forger. For those at the high level of the mystic rank, it was usually used by Ling Yun. In fact, it was enough. Most of those at the peak level were used by those at the middle and lower levels of the mountains and seas. Those at the high level of the mountains and seas, if they had money, would usually choose to use earth soldiers. As for those at the sun-moon realm, most of them would use medium or even high-level earth soldiers. Before Hong could speak, the young man said, "Master, General Hong said that General Chao has invited a quasi-earth soldier to repair the weapon. It's Cui Lang from the Daming Mansion." Cui Lang? Yes, the one related to the Qing family of Tang Mansion. Don't you remember? Oh. The old man suddenly remembered, but Su Yu's face turned black. He glanced at the young man and said, "Fine, kid, you are short-sighted. Wait and see how I will deal with you later." Su Yu didn't bother to talk nonsense. Seeing that the middle-aged soldier casting was about to end, he didn't say anything more. He walked forward and opened another soldier casting furnace. The weapon forging division saw him and knew that he wanted to forge a weapon, but no one said anything. Clearly, this person was going to show off his true abilities. Weapon forging division was sometimes so straightforward. If you had the ability, don't be afraid of being known by others. The prerequisite was that you had the true ability. We all relied on our strength to make a living. Su Yu took out some materials. Flames rose and instantly melted. With just this move, the old man's expression changed slightly. What a powerful fire! Tier 4 Divine Runes. The materials were easily melted by Su Yu, and the essence was extracted. In the blink of an eye, water mist rose up, and golden light flickered. In the blink of an eye, a general sword embryo was cast. There were no golden patterns, only the embryo was cast first. With this move, the old man's eyes instantly became bright, and he quickly transmitted his voice, "Come and take a look, little Wang, all of you take a closer look. He really is a master-level figure." The young man's face was also filled with shock. He had forged a rough outline so easily. This fellow had really reached the level of quasi-earth weapon division. Su Yu did not care about them. The current him also had some understanding of weapon forging. He had exchanged experiences with many earth-rank weapon forging divisions and helped old Zhao forge an embryonic form of a heavenly weapon. He himself had also forged a civil weapon with 72 golden patterns. Right now, he only wanted to forge a peak mystic rank weapon. The difficulty was not high. Quenching, refining, forging the embryo. A moment later, a huge hammer appeared and smashed down with a rumble. It was extremely fast. This is the Zhao family's weapon forging technique. The old man could tell that Hongdu did not really understand it, but he knew some things. He said, "Master Cui helped Master Zhao Li successfully forge a weapon in the Great Xia Mansion. Master Zhao Li advanced to the mountain and sea realm and forged the embryonic form of a heavenly weapon. That time, Master Cui advanced to the peak mystic rank weapon forging master. I see. The old man exclaimed. Zhao Li succeeded. Congratulations. He sighed and said quickly, everyone, watch carefully. This Cui Lang. No, Daoist brother Cui might really be able to forge 72 golden inscriptions weapon. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1554. 1554 Chapter 354 Vanguard Army, LRB Subscription 4. The successful forging of 72 golden patterns was what a quasi-Earth division was. Previously, he was also confused, but now, he somewhat believed it. As for Su Yu, he ignored them. He continued to focus on his forging. As for the forging technique, it wasn't something that could be learned just by looking at it once. Moreover, the core of his forging was the God-expanding hammer as well as his 5 elements divine runes. Under normal circumstances, unless one was forging a powerful weapon, the weapon forging master would not mind being watched by others. The hammer was incomparably swift and fierce. The great fire was burning. Su Yu's forging speed was extremely fast. Gradually, a golden pattern was formed. A moment later, 2 golden patterns appeared. In 5 minutes, roughly 1 golden pattern could be formed. In 1 hour, 12 golden patterns were formed. Su Yu's speed did not decrease in the slightest. The hammer was still as fierce as before. At this moment, even Hong did not feel the power of the weapon forging technique. He could also feel the endurance and strength of Su Yu's willpower. Vibration. The small sword became smaller and smaller, but it became more and more translucent. Unknowingly, a few more people had appeared in the main hall, and all of them were silently watching as no one made a sound. 2 hours, 3 hours. A loud boom sounded. 37 golden inscriptions were cast, and the profound weapon was successfully forged. 3 hours later, a profound weapon appeared. And this wasn't enough. Su Yu continued to add more materials, and his movements were as smooth as flowing water. The 100-path pavilion's inheritance, Zhao Li's inheritance, no matter which side it was a top-tier human realm weapon forging inheritance. After hammering for a few more hours, with a rumbling sound, a sharp sword chi burst out from the sword embryo. In the main hall, several young men were injured by the sword light, and they were forced to retreat. 64 golden patterns. The old man exclaimed. He was already at the peak of the profound rank. So easy. It was done in one go. He could not catch up to Su Yu's standard. Currently, he could only forge 63 golden patterns, and there was no way for him to forge any further. Furthermore, he had to spend quite a bit of time on it, and it was not as easy as Su Yu's. The golden patterns continued to increase. Sweat dripped from Su Yu's forehead and was instantly vaporized by the fire. The sound of hammering was very rhythmic. The sound of shaking could be faintly heard. Flames rose everywhere. The golden patterns continued to appear. 65, 66. At this moment, it was already night time outside. Su Yu continued to forge for a while and continued to add materials. In the end, when the 72nd golden pattern was about to take shape, Su Yu suddenly frowned. The 72 golden patterns that were about to take shape were somewhat distorted. Frowning slightly, Su Yu suddenly let out a low shout and hammered down. The golden patterns that were about to take shape actually showed signs of fading. Recast. The old man was shocked and couldn't help but exclaim. Recast quasi-Earth soldier. Did Cui Lang have the ability to do so? Even an Earth soldier division might not be able to do so. Just as he was thinking, with a rumble, the 72nd golden pattern disappeared. Su Yu suddenly stopped and shook his head. I can't cast it back. However, there are some problems with the 72 golden patterns. I'm not going to forge a peak mystic rank weapon with problems. I'll just cast 71. After saying that, the golden characters lit up. With a buzz, the weapon exploded with an extremely sharp sword chi. As for the old man, he exclaimed, amazing. Brother Chui's weapon forging technique was perfected. It shouldn't be difficult to forge a quasi-earth soldier with 72 golden patterns. Even if the forging of a normal quasi-earth soldier division wasn't perfect, they wouldn't be able to change 72 to 71, has Brother Chui advanced to an earth soldier division already? It was very difficult to do it without an earth soldier division. Suyu shook his head, I haven't tried it. I've been busy recently and haven't had the time to try it. Furthermore, it took too long and caused quite a commotion, so I won't try it for now. However, I don't think there's too much of a problem with an earth soldier. Even if it's forged, it's still a trash earth soldier. Let's wait and see. The conversation between the two made the other weapon forging masters feel the urge to die. At this moment, the black-armored general clapped, he smiled faintly and said, amazing. Master Chui didn't disappoint me. Ling Yun Realm, Earth Weapon Division. This is probably the first one. I don't know much about weapon forging, but Master Chui forged a weapon at the peak of black grade in one go. In my opinion, his strength isn't inferior to Old Zhang's. Old Zhang was the fallen Earth Weapons Division. General Chao said, I've seen Old Zhang's weapon forging a few times. In my opinion, the speed and methods of weapon forging are not better than Master Chui's. Chui Lang, on behalf of the Vanguard Army, I officially invite you to join the Vanguard Army. Whatever conditions you have, feel free to name them. Suyu said unhappily, no conditions. I'll leave in 3 days. Forget it, I spent an extra day on the weapon forging today. I'll give you 3 more days. I'm not going to stay here. Do you really think I'm not busy? Moreover, it's so dangerous. Even the Earth Weapon Division of the Sun Moon tier is dead. Your Vanguard Army is playing with the life of the Weapon Forging Division. As soon as he said that, the black-armored general fell silent for a moment, he nodded and said, that's fine too. Old Zhang's death is indeed because we didn't protect him well. Then, I'll have to trouble Master Chui for the next 3 days. There's no need to repair any weapons below the high-tier profound level. It's mainly the peak of the profound level and some earth weapons. After thinking for a while, he said, my long spear is a medium-level earth-grade weapon. Can it be repaired? He didn't choose to force it. He was really forcing it. Just like what Suyu said, he wanted to leave a backup plan for you. You wouldn't even know what to do. 3 days would be enough to repair some weapons. Suyu frowned and said, it's hard. Unless I really advance to Earth-grade weapon master, I still have a certain chance to repair a medium-level Earth-grade weapon. Otherwise, there's no hope at all. I can try to repair a low-level Earth-grade weapon. That's enough. General Chao turned around and left. His voice sounded, Hongdu, bring Master Chui to rest and recuperate well. Protect Master Chui well. Tomorrow, Master will repair the weapons for everyone. Don't bring anyone below High Xian Division. Yes. Hongdu responded. Suyu didn't care about General Chao. The other party was still wearing a helmet. He didn't see what he looked like clearly. In any case, he would only stay for a few days. When he was free, he would see Teacher Lu. At the side, the old man of the High Xian Grade Weapon Forging Division said regretfully, Dao Brother Chui, you don't plan to stay. Suyu shook his head and said, no, it's too dangerous to forge weapons here. Sigh. The old man nodded and glanced at General Chao who had left, he nodded and said, it's dangerous, but, forget it, Dao Brother Chui, rest well. I'll trouble you tomorrow. I can also repair High Xian grade weapons. I'll trouble you with some troublesome ones. Su Yu glanced at him. The old man smiled, knowing that he had some doubts. After thinking for a while, he said, "Perhaps you feel that all the people here are sinners and deserve to die, so you don't have the heart to repair their weapons and forge them. However, even if these people are sinners, they are still fighting for the human race. We can't help them with anything else, but we can help them improve some of their military equipment." Su Yu didn't say anything and walked out. Perhaps everyone had their own goals, and perhaps he wasn't able to understand them at the moment. After he left, the young man behind him hurriedly said, "Master Cui, I apologize to you. Master Cui, can you give us some pointers on how to forge weapons?" "I'm not interested." Su Yu walked out of the main hall, and the young man had a regretful look on his face. When he was far away, only then did he say gloomily, "Damn, he really became an earth armament master. Teacher, how did he do it? Could it be that he can do it just by sleeping with more women?" "Teacher, you told me not to get close to women, are you wrong? Why don't I give it a try as well?" The old man was speechless. "Screw you. What the hell are you talking about?" However, looking at Su Yu, he pondered for a moment before stroking his beard. "Could it be that we are forging weapons, and the flames of Yang are too strong, so we need to lower the flames of Yang? It's not impossible. Why don't we try?" At this moment, the old man was a little absent-minded. "Why don't I try and let my disciples try again when there's a result?" You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1555. 1555 Chapter 355 Things are not the same as people. 1. In the vanguard camp, in a dilapidated huge stone house, this was Su Yu's residence. Compared to the Daming embassy, the environment here was even worse than the toilets. Hongdu sent Su Yu here and arranged for a soaring state guard to guard the door. At the same time, he listened to Su Yu's instructions and quickly left this place to do his own things. As for Su Yu, he sat cross-legged under the cold stone bed. As he cultivated silently, he scouted his surroundings. The induction jade was the best scouting tool. 1,000-meter radius could cover some areas. The vanguard unit's strength isn't weak. Su Yu sighed in his heart. There were many experts around him. Just within 1,000-meter radius, he had scouted out 2 Sun Moon and 6 Shanghai Realm warriors. That was not all. The vanguard army, the vanguard of the human race, was specialized in killing. However, the aura of death here was too strong. There was not the energy and solemnity of the other armies, only coldness and coldness. Outside the door, the guard was not as solemn and cold as the average soldier. At this moment, perhaps he thought that Su Yu would not call him, but the soldier quickly stomped his feet and walked to the side. He lit a small fire beside the room. After a while, he got a chicken from somewhere and started to roast it. The fragrance gradually spread. The soldier with white hair bared his big yellow teeth and smiled. He sprinkled some seasoning on it and was ready to eat. Just as he was about to eat, his vision blurred and the chicken that was being roasted was gone. This person was shocked and hurriedly rolled away. Just as he was about to call for someone, his heart moved and he opened his eyes. Indeed, it was the weapon forging division in the house. Master Cui is still awake. The elder in the sky revealed a silly smile and greeted him. Su Yu said indifferently, "You're barbecuing outside the door, can I sleep?" Cough cough. "Forgive me, master, I'm a little hungry. I've been fighting for the whole day." "Are you hungry too, master? Why don't I go find General Hong?" "There's no need." Su Yu sat down, tore up half of the chicken and threw the rest to the old soldier. "Let's eat together." I don't dare. Adults can eat it." "I said let's eat together." Su Yu looked at him coldly, and the veteran was embarrassed. He could only sit down, pick up the half chicken, and eat it silently. Su Yu took a bite. It was a little rough, but he didn't care. As he ate, he said, "Is this how the Vanguard Battalion works?" "What? There are no rules." Su Yu said it directly. There were indeed no rules. This wouldn't happen in a regular army. The veteran bared his teeth and smiled. Rules? In this place, killing is a rule. What's the point of having rules? I still don't know if I can live until tomorrow. How did you get in? Su Yu asked. The veteran chuckled and said, "Killing. I'm from the Dashang mansion. 10 years ago, I just entered the sky not long ago. My son was studying at the academy at that time. In the end, my son had a conflict with someone and was crippled. In a fit of anger, I killed that guy's father." Su Yu said calmly, "Why did you kill his father? If a son doesn't take care of his father, who else would he kill if not his father?" The veteran chuckled and said, "His son crippled my son. In the beginning, what I meant was to ask him to find an expert to help my son recover from his injuries. The treatment fee was a little high, but there was still hope to save him. In the end, that guy insisted that my son's aptitude was too low and there was no need for treatment. He gave me 100 merit points to settle this matter. Later, I became angry and found an opportunity to kill him." "What was the sentence?" 20 years in prison. The veteran smiled and said, "I was just waiting for death. In the first 10 years, his luck was not bad. There were not many battles and he was lucky enough to survive. But recently, he had not been able to. On the side of the sky camp, almost a third of them had died. Sir, don't punish me anymore. Barbecuing is not a crime. At most, I will betray them for a few months. I might not be able to live until then." Su Yu did not say anything more. He ate the barbecued chicken and asked after a while, "Is the Vanguard camp almost the same as you?" "There are all kinds of people. Some are bandits, some are murderers, some are killed by mistake, and some are wronged." Seeing that he was still easy to talk to, the veteran laughed and said, "Sir, don't stay here for too long. This damn place is too dangerous. No one is running." "Run. Run where?" The old soldier laughed and said, "Wherever you run, you will die. If you die in battle here, you will get some compensation. If you are guilty, at least you will not implicate your family. If you run, you will be a traitor, the sin of the E race." Su Yu nodded slightly and continued to eat silently. After eating for a while, he suddenly said, "Do you think that the human race has the hope of winning?" "Ah." The veteran was slightly stunned and laughed dryly, "Sir, I'm just a small fry. How would I know about this? If Sir wants us to kill, then we'll kill. If you want us to fight, then we'll fight. You haven't considered anything else?" "There's no use in considering." Seeing that he wasn't eating anymore, the veteran bared his teeth and smiled. He thought for a moment and said, "Sir, you're asking me this because you want to understand the situation at the grassroots level?" He was a little excited. "Sir, for a big shot like you, General Chao treats you with respect. Can you meet the invincible king?" "Probably." "Then sir, can you tell the higher-ups that the treatment of the various armies is the same?" N. Su Yu is puzzled. "What's the same?" "It's just that the treatment of the various armies is the same. The more they kill, the more they earn. Lord, what you don't know is that over the years, because the various corps receive different treatment, they've caused quite a bit of trouble. The Vanguard Battalion is under even more pressure, and some of the corps that can fight don't want to fight anymore. Take the Great Xia and Great Qin Corps as an example. In the past, these corps could fight near the Vanguard Battalion, but they didn't need the Vanguard Battalion to do anything. Those people started to howl when they killed, but as they killed, there were fewer and fewer people. After killing, they took less money. Great Qin and Great Xia were both short of money, but some of the corps didn't lack money, and the main point was that they couldn't fight. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1556. 1556 Chapter 355, The Difference Between Man and Man 2. The veteran shook his head and said, "Let's just say that the Ming dynasty's military is the best, but we can't fight them. Killing people is a waste of time. However, they also have money and the highest treatment. Do you think that the other legatees will be able to balance this out? Right now, Great Qin and Great Xia's legions have to calculate how much they will lose and how much compensation they will receive. The pressure on the vanguard battalion has become many times greater." As he said this, he sighed and said, "Life is getting harder and harder. Those who can fight have no money, and those who can't fight have nothing to do. However, they can't even make it to the front lines. There are tens of millions of soldiers on the battlefield, and those who can fight are less than 2 million. The remaining 8 million are just for show." Su Yu couldn't help but laugh. "That's because they don't have any money. There's nothing we can do about that." "That's true." The veteran shook his head. "What a pity. If the great Qin king could unify the world and reduce the army by 8 million, he would have spent all of the 8 million that couldn't be fought on those 2 million soldiers. It would definitely be stronger than 10 million soldiers." Su Yu asked curiously, "Is that what you think, or is it what most people think?" "Many people say so." The veteran laughed and said, "Including the 8 million soldiers, does Sir think that they want to go to the heavenly battlefield? Even if they fight, they won't be able to move. Once a war breaks out, these people will know that they can't move the other party. They all know it, but there's nothing they can do. When the Great Xia and Great Qin's elites are done fighting, sigh. Pray for yourself. Disarmament, unification." Su Yu mumbled and shook his head. There was no hope. Even the invincible could not be unified, and everyone had their own plans. It was impossible for them to unify all of the Great Xia and Great Xia's armies. Great Qin and Great Xia were unable to fight anymore. They had no money, and it was already good enough that they did not scold them for using their armies for military purposes. They were even giving them money to expand their armies. What were they thinking? The veteran soldier said, "The humans are actually quite strong. In any case, I feel that they're not weaker than the gods and devils. If the gods and devils did not join forces, it would be hard to say who would be able to kill who in a one-on-one battle. Even though the gods and devils are also scattered, if the gods and devils have half-emperors, they can stand out and say something, and we can do it together. The human race is lacking such a person. Even the great Qin king cannot make all the manners listen to him." Su Yu nodded. This was something that many people had seen. However, there was nothing he could do. He knew that he was invincible, but what could he do? Make them the subordinates of the great Qin king? On what basis? "I'm not much weaker than you. If we were to really fight, you might not be able to win against me. Why would I listen to you? It would already be good if I could listen to you on some matters." After chatting with this veteran for a while, Su Yu became more clear about the situation of the entire Zhutian battlefield. He didn't sleep for a night. The next day, Su Yu started to help people repair their weapons. In the weapon forging hall, Su Yu obtained the first weapon that needed to be repaired. It was a long blade at the peak of the black grade, with 68 golden patterns. The owner was an expert at the 5th level of the mountain and sea realm. He had a strong back and a thick waist, and his killing intent was extremely strong. However, when he faced Su Yu, he was extremely careful. He smiled and fawned over him. "Master Cui, do you think it can be repaired?" Su Yu picked up the long blade and looked at it. There were many cracks on it, and it was cut by someone. The 68 golden patterns were all somewhat unrelated. Although it was said to be a peak mystic rank blade, in reality, it was already considered not bad if it could unleash the power of the mid-mystic rank. Suyu sized it up and nodded slightly. It can be repaired. I need to add some materials. It's good that it can be repaired. The burly man was instantly overjoyed. Whatever materials master needs, feel free to use them. If I don't have them, if master has them, I'll pay. I'll pay however much it costs. Suyu still had some materials. Previously, he had bought 100,000 merit points worth of materials and spent quite a bit, but it was not to the point where he had spent all of them. Moreover, early in the morning, that Hongdu had also sent over a large batch of materials for him to use. The materials are enough, money. I don't lack money. Suyu said calmly, give me some blood essence or some special cultivation techniques that are not available on the market. I only need these things, I don't need anything else. This. The man thought for a moment and said, Master Cui, now that you mention it, I really do have a cultivation technique, but master might not be interested in it. Tell me. Please don't. Master, just look at it. I'm not afraid that master will defame my cultivation technique. The man laughed and quickly took out a jade talisman and handed it to Suyu. Suyu looked at it and said, Demon race cultivation technique? Yes, I killed a demon beast and obtained either the text of will or a simple cultivation technique, but humans can't use it. But I took a look and found it useful. It's a set of supplementary cultivation technique to enhance the sharpness of Yuan Qi. Of course, Master Cui might not like it. Suyu looked at it for a while but did not say a word. He put away the cultivation technique and began to help him repair the weapon. The burly man was overjoyed. F***ck, he did not need to spend money. This master was really interested in anything. He was even interested in this thing. As Suyu repaired the weapon, he added some ideas to help sharpen the long saber. This was only a martial weapon. It did not need any divine runes to match it, but it needed to be sturdy and sharp enough. It also needed to transmit Yuan Qi. With more golden patterns, the transmission would be stronger. A powerful weapon could also increase the strength of Yuan Qi. Suyu repaired it for a while and asked, Can I ask a question? Please ask, Master. You are at the 5th layer of the mountain and sea realm. If you were to just talk about your physical body, not to mention special combat techniques and explosions, how many apertures can your physical body explode with? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1557. 1557 Chapter 355, The Difference Between Man and Man 3. The burly man scratched his head and thought for a moment before chuckling, Master, this matter is usually not told to outsiders. However, Master is not an outsider. You should be measuring my destructive power, right? The need to repair the weapon, am I right? That's right, you're quite good at brainstorming. This reason was not bad. Suyu nodded, that's what I meant. I'm afraid that this weapon won't be able to withstand your destructive power. I need to see if it needs to be reinforced. Around 50,000 apertures. The burly man chuckled. It's not strong, but it's not weak either. Among the fighters, it's considered average. After saying that, he added, explosive power is only one aspect. Besides, to us, the most important thing is speed. The burly man said gloomily, my speed is a little slow. No matter how strong your explosive power is, it'll be troublesome if you can't hit someone else. My speed is slow, and I've suffered a few losses. Suyu nodded and continued to repair his weapon. 5th layer of the Shanghai realm, explosive force of 50,000 apertures. Was it considered strong? It was just average. Of course, it was definitely not considered weak. As for battle experience, there was no one in the vanguard unit who wasn't rich. They were all good fighters, and those who were stronger than him weren't much stronger. If they didn't have enough experience, they might not be able to win against him. Su Yu pondered in his heart. His physical body was now 12. The explosive force of his acupuncture points exceeded 5,600 points. Adding on the enhancement of the strength, character and the fact that his young acupuncture points could be half opened, the explosive force steadily exceeded 6,000 points. But when it came to speed, he was actually not slow. Silkworm King's time was a type of speed-type cultivation technique. Even if Su Yu's comprehension wasn't perfect, his current speed couldn't catch up to some mountains and seas. Not to mention mountains and seas, even some 7th or 8th level Lingyun cultivators were slightly faster than him. Time's comprehension is still too low. The burly man's words also reminded him of his speed. Su Yu's current strength wasn't considered weak. However, his slow speed was a huge flaw. He might be able to create a pair of speed-increasing shoes for himself. If he comprehended time, he might be able to barely keep up with those 7th or 8th level Lingyun cultivators. Or, he might be able to find some cultivation techniques that could increase his speed. He had to be fast. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to escape even if he encountered danger. Only when he arrived at the heavenly battlefield did he know how many powerhouses there were. He had already met quite a few of them. Previously, he didn't rashly go to the East Rift Valley. Now that he thought about it, it might not be too bad. He had to make some preparations. Why don't he forge an Earth Soldier shoe here? The compensation that he had asked Zhang He for previously had enough materials to forge an Earth Soldier. Perhaps I can forge an Earth Soldier here. Officially entering the Earth Soldier Division domain. After helping the burly man repair his weapon, Su Yu moved on to the next person. Almost all of them were at the Shanghai realm. 1, 2. When the next person entered, Su Yu was slightly stunned. Zheng Yuming. He could be considered an acquaintance. Master Cui. Zheng Yuming had a smile on his face. When he saw Su Yu, he showed some respect. He was only at the second stage of the mountain and sea realm, so he wasn't considered strong here. Su Yu nodded indifferently. Cultivating literary weapons? Yes. Zheng Yuming hurriedly took out his literary weapon, a long sword, and said with some heartache, Master Cui, can you help me take a look? Can this be repaired? Earth weapon. Su Yu frowned and looked up at him. This guy was rich. Ordinary mountains and seas really couldn't afford to use an earth weapon, but he actually had one. Yes, it's an Earth Soldier, but it's only at the early stage of the Earth Soldier stage, with 74 golden patterns. Su Yu picked up the long sword and looked at him. He sized him up and said indifferently, it's hard to cultivate an Earth Soldier, so there's a possibility of failure. In addition, it takes too much energy, especially for a civil soldier. Su Yu said coldly, if the restoration fails, I won't compensate you. In addition, you're a civilized master, so as the price, I need to observe a level 4 divine inscription of yours. If you're willing, then cultivate it. If you're not, then forget it. Observe the divine inscriptions. Zheng Yuming said hesitantly, Master Cui, I will pay for it. Merit points, or just like the others, I will pay for some heavenly and earthly treasures. No need. Su Yu threw the long sword to him, forget it. It was hard to repair a civil weapon, not to mention an earthly weapon. This sword of yours should be an earthly weapon forged by Master Chen from the Great Xia Mansion. I have some understanding of Master Chen's art of forging weapons. I am 80% sure that it can be repaired. You can try it with other people. Yes, 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 it was forged by Master Chen. Zheng Yuming had a helpless look on his face. He was also impressed by Su Yu's foresight. He recognized that it was forged by Master Chen at a glance. After hesitating for a moment, he said, do I have to use a Tier 4 divine script? Of course. Su Yu said bluntly, I am observing the divine script to gain knowledge and experience for myself. What am I supposed to look at if it's a Tier 3 divine script? Don't I have it myself? In addition, I can also look at your divine inscription's characteristics. It's best to match them with the literary soldiers. Zheng Yiming hesitated for a while and sighed in his heart. All right. A moment later, he nodded and said, Master Cui, I can agree to this condition, but, Master, it's best if you don't divulge my divine inscription's characteristics. Cut the crap. There are rules in the industry. I naturally know what to do. Are you going to fix it or not? At this moment, Suyu was secretly delighted. Back when he was in the academy, there was a huge gap between him and him. Now that he was here, he had to lower his head and beg him. Look at his divine prose. Previously, his divine prose had been shattered by Myriad Sage. Suyu actually wanted to see how this fellow's divine prose was doing now. Myriad Sage seemed to have shattered his main divine prose. What was Zheng Yiming cultivating now? How to cultivate? In such a short time, can cultivate a fourth-order god language. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1558. 1558 Chapter 355 Human Transformation 4. Or was it that he had cultivated the human divine language as the main divine language? It had shattered that day, but it didn't seem to have shattered his human divine language. Zheng Yiming was also helpless. Now that he didn't cultivate literary soldiers, his literary soldiers would also shatter. After hesitating for a while, a divine language appeared. Suppress. The human divine language. Su Yu's eyes flickered. You cultivate the human divine language? Yes. Didn't the divine language of the human race say that there's no way to advance to the sun and moon realm? You actually cultivate this? Are you cultivating this as the main divine language? Su Yu was puzzled. What are you thinking? This. Zheng Yiming said awkwardly, I'm making some attempts. Currently, many people who cultivate the divine language of the 10,000 races are stuck at the peak of the mountain and sea realm. I want to try and see if cultivating the divine language of the human race will make it easier to advance. Su Yu nodded slightly and reached out to grab the divine script. Zheng Yiming wanted to move, but in the next moment, he didn't stop him. Su Yu thought to himself. Now that the divine script that had grabbed him was broken, this guy would be severely injured. Of course, there was no need to do this. It was courting death to deal with the Vanguard unit's people in the Vanguard unit. Su Yu carefully examined it and sensed it. Is this used to suppress the opponent's strength? Master, you have a good eye. Su Yu ignored him and continued to sense it for a while. Suddenly, he said, this divine text feels a little different. He looked at Zheng Yiming and said in a deep voice, it feels a little special. Special? Zheng Yiming laughed dryly and said, Master Cui said it's special because it's a human divine text. No. Su Yu said indifferently, I sensed it. This divine text is a little unstable. It feels like. Yes, it feels like it's being ripened. This was the real feeling. Su Yu muttered, ripening, could it be that this divine text was birthed? How was it birthed? Where was it birthed? He raised his head and looked at Zheng Yiming, who was a little uncomfortable. Zheng Yiming had a smile on his face and managed to regain his composure. He said with a smile, Master, you have good taste. Previously, when the divine text was damaged, I absorbed a large amount of willpower and forcefully raised this divine text to tier 4, so it's a little superficial. Su Yu nodded slightly. I knew it. However, forcefully raising the divine text to rank 4 consumes a lot of willpower. I am also having a headache because my willpower is not strong enough. Does this general have any connections in this aspect? No, this willpower is all accumulated and purified by me over the years. It has long been used up. Su Yu nodded. Bulsh *T. Where did you get the willpower purification? Let's not talk about this. There was one more thing. This divine text was matured and gave Suyu a feeling that it was not very stable. However, after absorbing and digesting it for a period of time, it might become stable. It did not seem like Xing Yiming had nurtured it himself. It was more like. Suyu could not describe what it felt like. It was more like. Yes, it was like it was passed down and inherited. Could it be that someone had given his divine text to Xing Yiming? He had some vague thoughts in his mind, but he couldn't make heads or tails of it. Suyu tried to comprehend the suppression divine text again. Suddenly, he had a thought and said, "This divine text, is it a matching divine text?" "Ah. I mean a combination type divine text." Suyu frowned and said, "It doesn't feel like it's a single one. I'm more sensitive to divine texts. This divine text might even have a matching combination divine text, right? Master has such good taste." Xing Yiming forced a smile and cursed in his heart. There were so many things to do. You've already comprehended and seen it. Why are you still asking all these miscellaneous questions? However, it was true that he had sharp eyes. Despite his young age, he was quite knowledgeable. However, Suyu's heart was filled with waves of emotions. A matching set of Tier 4 divine texts that had matured. One thought after another rose up. After a long while, he vaguely had some thoughts. Divine runes, could it be that someone was cultivating them artificially? That was impossible, right? How could he cultivate divine runes artificially? After cultivating them, how could he transplant them? Xing Yiming's divine runes had shattered, and it hadn't been long since then. In an instant, he had obtained 4th-tier divine runes, and it was possible that there were other 4th-tier divine runes as well. There was something wrong with this fellow. Xing Yiming and Zhou Mingren, these two fellows, had a very close relationship with the Great Zhou Manor. Could it be that this was the Great Zhou Manor's technology? Divine runes transplantation, divine runes cultivation. If that was the case, then it would be a little terrifying. Great Zhou Manor. Suyu was not too calm in his heart. He was thinking of a problem. If the Great Zhou Manor really had such technology, did that mean that they had secretly created a large amount of divine runes that could be transplanted at any time? Was this to prepare for multiple divine runes, or was it simply to cultivate some experts? Nurturing divine runes was a very troublesome matter to begin with. After thinking about it for a long time, Suyu did not ask any more questions. If he continued asking, Xing Yiming would curse. Earth soldiers were not easy to cultivate. Suyu took out his large hammer. When Xing Yiming saw this hammer, he felt a little strange and awkward. He was rather familiar with this. It seemed to be Zhao Li's soul-expanding art, and this Cui Lang actually knew it too. He asked around and found out that this guy seemed to have helped Zhao Li forge an Earth soldier. Zhao Li had advanced to the mountain and sea realm. Suyu ignored him and began to repair it. The sounds of forging continued. As he repaired it, he kept thinking about how to bury some backup plans. This guy was his enemy, so it was not good to lay a hand on him now. However, it was still necessary to lay an ambush. You're looking for me to repair the Earth soldier. If I don't give you a trump card, I'll be letting myself down. As the forging continued, Suyu's divine writing power continued to surge out. 74 golden patterns emitted light, and the sharp aura of the golden divine writing seeped into the scribes. The flames of the fire divine writing were also contained within. Suyu compressed the sharp power and the power of the flames into those golden patterns, forging and sealing them. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1559. 1559 Chapter 355 Things are not the same as people 5. One day, this guy would really meet me. As soon as Wen Bing came, I was confident that I could make his Wen Bing explode. Su Yu's speed was very fast, and he forged continuously. Jing Yiming had actually been staring at it the whole time, but the flames were overflowing, and the sharp aura was overflowing. He looked at it for a while, but he did not see anything. He was not good at forging weapons either. Su Yu forged for a long time. It wasn't until the afternoon that he stopped sweating and handed the paper soldier over. It's more difficult to repair it, but it's mostly repaired. Some of the characteristics are worn out, so you can nurture them yourself. Thank you, Master Cui. Jing Yiming was delighted. He sensed for a moment and checked, but he didn't find anything wrong with it. It was sharper than before. After thanking him for a while, he quickly left. After he left, Su Yu revealed a doubtful expression. There was something wrong with this fellow's divine inscriptions. It was a pity that he didn't have enough clues, and he wasn't able to understand it in depth. The first day of repair continued until late at night. Su Yu repaired 8 mystic-grade pinnacle weapons, and 2 earth-grade weapons, both of which were elementary grade. Repairing weapons was also an opportunity to increase his experience. After seeing the weapon forging techniques of different weapon forging masters, Su Yu's understanding of weapon forging also increased. The second day was the same as the first day. Su Yu continued to repair weapons. As he chatted with these Vanguard Battalion experts, Su Yu learned more things. He exchanged for some special cultivation techniques and treasures, as well as some blood essence. As for the 5 elements divine script, other than the fire word divine script that had advanced to tier 4, the other divine scripts were all slightly strengthened during his forging process. As he repaired a lot of weapons, Cui Lang's reputation in the Vanguard camp had also grown. It was not until the next night that Su Yu waited for the person he wanted to wait for. Lu Wenyan. Lu Wenyan had come with his uncle. This time, he was also here to repair his uncle's weapons. Brother Lu. Su Yu called out and said with a smile, "Didn't I say before that I wouldn't repair Brother Lu's weapons?" Lu Wenyan was speechless. Why did he have his eyes on me? At this moment, he was also helpless. He forced a smile and said, "Master Cui, don't be angry. This time, it's not me who will repair the weapon. It's my uncle. Master Cui is magnanimous. Why are you arguing with an old waste like me?" Uncle Lu's expression changed slightly. He wanted to stop repairing it, but Su Yu smiled and said, "All right. On account of your reputation in the past, I'll help you repair it." Su Yu was also shocked when he received the earth soldier that was about to break from Uncle Lu's side. This earth soldier should have been heavily injured. Not only that, this earth soldier seemed to have lost a level. There were a few inscriptions that might have existed back then, but now they had faded away. This is an earth-grade mid-level martial soldier. Did it lose a level later? Uncle Lu was slightly startled. He didn't expect him to see through it. He nodded and said, "Yes, it was heavily injured back then." Seeing that he saw through it at a glance, Lu Wenyan could only explain, "My uncle was a Sun-Moon Realm warrior back then. Later on, he suffered a heavy injury and fell from the Sun-Moon Realm. Along with the Earth Soldier, he also suffered a heavy injury and broke a few inscriptions." Heavy injury? Su Yu touched his chin and said playfully, "A heavy injury to the Sea of Will, or a heavy injury to the physical body?" A warrior falling from the realm should be a heavy injury to the physical body, right? Uncle Lu frowned slightly and didn't say anything. Lu Wenyan cursed in his heart. Why are there so many things going on? Just tell me if you can fix it or not. Su Yu glanced at Uncle Lu and said with a smile, "I think this old man is not in a good condition. He has consumed too much energy and his physical body even smells of decay. Does he not have long to live? He doesn't have long to live, so why is he repairing weapons?" Lu Wenyan looked at him with some annoyance. "Master Cui, it's fine if you can't repair it. Why are you so aggressive?" Su Yu said with a smile, "Brother Lu, why can't you hold back your temper? There is a difference between real and fake abilities when it comes to repairing weapons. If you fawn on me a little, I will repair it a little better for you. It makes me unhappy. Believe it or not, I can clearly repair 90% of it, but I must repair 40% for you. The remaining 50% is just for show. Lu Wenyan was stunned. What did he mean? Su Yu chuckled and said, "This is just like the article of will. It's just a saber technique book, but I'll write 4 real saber techniques. Do you think that no one will be able to see through the rest of the fake ones? If you really wait until you're exposed, you'll say that you're not strong enough and that you didn't learn. It's the same principle for forging weapons." Lu Wenyan's eyes widened and his mouth fell open. F***ck. You. It can't be. Uncle Lu didn't feel anything. He frowned and said coldly, "Then I won't repair it." He wanted to take his sword away, but Su Yu didn't give it to him. As for Lu Wenyan, he was flabbergasted. Saber technique. What saber technique? Thunder Origin Saber. That day, when he wrote Su Yu the will of the Thunder Origin Saber, his willpower wasn't strong enough. Thinking that Su Yu wouldn't be able to finish cultivating it so quickly, he wrote him 4 real and 5 fake will articles. He was the only one who knew about this matter. Of course, the old mansion master had noticed something, but he was fooled. If there was anyone who knew, it should be him, the old mansion master, and Su Yu himself might have discovered something later. As for the other students present that day, they had not even finished learning the first blade, so they naturally could not see anything. Uncle Lu was a little angry. He even wanted to take away his weapon. This guy was humiliating his nephew. He had seen this kind of person many times. Lu Wenyan was a genius in the past, but now he was down and out. There were many bastards who wanted to humiliate him to get pleasure. This Cui Lang was obviously regarded as such a person by him. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 1560. 1560 Chapter 355 is the difference between man and man 6. Lu Wenyan, on the other hand, had a peculiar look in his eyes as he looked at Su Yu. After a long while, he said, "Master Cui, why bother? If you can repair it completely, you naturally have to repair it completely. Unless you don't have the ability to do so. Just like cultivation techniques, if you can't write it down, it's because you're not strong enough. It might not be because you're cheating." Su Yu smiled and said, "That's true. It still depends on your ability. Do as you can. For example, if I have a headache after learning 18 languages, if I were to learn one more, it might be too much for me and I won't be able to continue learning. It's the same principle for weapon forging. Do as you can. Damn you. F***ck. It's you, you dog. I'm your first teacher. What did you call me before? You called me little brother. I'll kill you, you unfilial disciple." Lu Wenyan was about to explode from anger. He was also shocked. How did this kid become an earthly army division? Not only did he become an earthly army division, but he also became Ling Yun. When I left, this guy was really good-natured. How long has it been? He actually surpassed me. I want to die. What 18 languages? Su Yu had studied for a long time and mastered 18 languages. He still remembered this matter. When Su Yu mentioned these, he finally realized that this was his student. He really didn't expect it. It was too unexpected. Thinking of this, Lu Wenyan gritted his teeth and said, "How about this, Master Cui, help my uncle repair his weapon. I'll give you some good stuff. I'm Yi Beishan's disciple after all. I have some secret techniques or something like that. Help my uncle repair his weapon and I'll tell you via voice transmission." Su Yu's eyes lit up. Really? Of course. Wenyan. Uncle Lu shouted, "No. I won't repair it anymore." "Uncle." Lu Wenyan said, "Don't say anything. Help me seal off the surroundings so that I won't be bugged. Some people have been plotting against me." Wenyan. "Uncle, I won't be satisfied if you don't repair your weapon. Listen to me." Uncle Lu was helpless as he was burning with anger. He looked at Su Yu and grunted as he released his Yuan Qi and sealed off the surroundings. Just as he sealed off the surroundings, with a bang, Lu Wenyan jumped up and slapped Su Yu's head. "Go to hell. You bastard, you actually made fun of me." Uncle Lu was dumbfounded. His nephew wanted to get rid of Cui Lang to vent his anger. Wasn't that a little too much? The point was, you might not be able to win for sure. Just as he was thinking, Su Yu bared his teeth and rubbed his head. He said embarrassedly, "Stop fighting. Time is tight." "Teacher, can't we talk properly?" "Talk properly?" Lu Wenyan was so angry that his beard was raised. "How did you call me?" Su Yu smiled embarrassedly. You just flew up." "I, Ling Yun, am still a weapon forging division. Calling you little brother, is in line with my personality. *CK your grandpa." Lu Wenyan swore. He was extremely angry and a little embarrassed. "What's wrong with me soaring into the sky? Are you very awesome? I've killed many people like Ling Yun. So what? What's so great about it?" Uncle Lu was also stunned at this moment. He looked at his nephew suspiciously and said, "Wenyan, this is calling you teacher, where did you get a student?" Lu Wenyan's expression was gloomy as he said gloomily, "By phone that brat took in that one." Uncle Lu instantly came to a realization and was also stunned. Su Yu. As for Su Yu, he smiled foolishly and said, "Teacher, Uncle Lu, I'm also a person who needs to be set up. The two of you don't have to bother about this. I came here this time just to pay a visit to teacher." "Screw you." Lu Wenyan was speechless and quickly said, "Cut the crap. Weapon forging can't last for too long. There might be a lot of people watching this damn place. What are you doing here, kid? Don't you know how dangerous it is?" "I know, it's fine. I'm just a little famous for weapon forging now, nothing else." Su Yu quickly said, "Uncle Lu seems to be seriously injured and his body has rotted. I have a cultivation technique that might be able to treat his injuries." After saying that, Su Yu quickly stuffed a few things into Lu Wenyan's hands. "You can take your time to look at it when you go back. I won't say anything else. Then," he said, "I'll help you repair the weapon as soon as possible. Also, teacher, is there anything you need?" "Me?" Lu Wenyan thought for a moment and shook his head. "There's no need. I'm not lacking in resources right now. I'm lacking in opportunities. Kid, cut the crap. Once you're done repairing the weapon, leave this place immediately and go back." "I'm not going back." Su Yu shook his head. "I want to cross the East Rift Valley to hunt down powerful enemies." "You." Lu Wenyan said angrily, "It's very dangerous over there. I'll only go if it's dangerous." Su Yu quickly calmed down from his excitement. "Teacher, I want to go. My strength isn't weak. To put it bluntly, teacher isn't my match right now. Moreover, if I really use all my methods, it won't be a problem for me to deal with a weak mountain and sea." Lu Wenyan was stunned. "You can even deal with a weak mountain and sea?" Su Yu smiled. "It's true." After saying that, he said, "Teacher, I'm no longer that weak fellow. I'm no longer that weakling who can only shout from the side. I'll give you my cultivation technique, and you guys can save my teacher." He thought of what happened that day and gritted his teeth. "And I'll be even stronger. I'll continue to be strong. I won't only shout and ask for help. I'll personally kill those enemies. Teacher, sooner or later, I will topple some bastards and kill some of them. I will make everything different from what it is now. Teacher, I am no longer that child. I am no longer the little brat who had a nightmare and came to you for comfort. I have grown up, and I have become stronger. Lu Wenyan was silent for a moment before he sighed. It's my fault. It's not your fault. Su Yu shook his head. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am now. Furthermore, you have taught so many students without any problems. The only reason why I was dragged into this is because I'm too outstanding. I'm so outstanding that others are jealous of me. Su Yu was speechless. What the heck, you didn't even forget to praise yourself when you spoke. Why are you so narcissistic? I will leave after fulfilling my promise tomorrow. Teacher, don't worry, I haven't suffered many losses before, and it will be the same this time. Lu Wenyan sighed and nodded. Since you have your own path, you should continue on. If something really happens, come over here, you brat. You have grown up, and you are different from before. I have never changed. Teacher, I won't do it now, and I won't do it in the future. Lu Wenyan smiled and nodded. Let's not talk about this anymore. To be able to meet you this time. I am already satisfied. You brat, repair your weapon. Don't let others suspect you. This vanguard battalion might not be a good person either. Got it. Su Yu began to repair his weapon. Uncle Lu opened the seal, but he couldn't hide the calmness in his heart. This was his nephew's disciple. He was about to become an earth weapons master. How did his nephew teach him? The master and disciple did not say anything at this moment. Su Yu forged the weapon, and Lu Wenyan watched silently. Back then in the Southern Yuan Academy, he was the one who taught this kid. Now, the world had changed, and things had changed. He taught Su Yu for 5 years in the Southern Yuan Academy. He watched helplessly as this kid rose up step by step. Now, in the blink of an eye, he was Ling Yun. Just thinking about it made one feel inferior. A sigh sounded in the heart.